Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 5 of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. We have LordFizzlebeef and ShoFukomachi here fighting for their right to get into the brackets without having to go into the play-in race. I'm joined today by the wonderful Lyra. Lyra, how you doing?
I am absolutely wonderful, Caleb, and it's definitely an honor and a pleasure to bring you all together here tonight, as always, for this big, huge 3-1 matchup. You are definitely fighting for a guaranteed playoff spot tonight, and it couldn't be any more exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about the for Fighter Black Mage, which our Black Mage is forced, meaning you must have at least one of them, and 2 Red Mages, while Sho is going for a little bit more traditional standard with the Fighter Rainbow, as we call it. There's no Thieves this seed, so a lot of running away? No. We're going to be doing a lot of blasting tonight. And with us tonight, speaking of blasting, we have the almighty voice of the angels himself, Will Cleosis.
Blasting into the broadcast booth, our maiden voyage, the Baroness, Lyra SRL, Ray Fades, Caleb, we call you Caleb. We finally all got together. We're going to have a great time live right here on Speed Gaming 2 this May 10th, 2019. As everyone talked about just a moment ago, it is Week 5 of the Swiss rounds. We're preparing for the brackets. Caleb told you about how both players are 3-1. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the players. On the right-hand side of your screen, it's LordFizzlebeef. I have a story about LordFizzlebeef. 3-1 right now. This time last year, 3-1. Qualified for the play-in race, was on his way, cruising his way into the bracket stage. 4 wins gets you there. You don't have to deal with any race. He did this last year. And he had a pair-down match. A random pair-down match against a 2-2 opponent. He thought it was great. He ran into someone named Will Cleosis, who at the time was named the Dragon Slayer. Will Cleosis took out LordFizzlebeef and screwed up all his plans. He had to deal with the play-in race in order to move forward. He did qualify at that point, but LordFizzlebeef is looking to not have that happen this year. But this time he plays a 3-1 legend of Final Fantasy Randomizer. It's ShoFukomachi, Mr. .01 himself, the 4th place and essentially first runner-up in the original inaugural Final Fantasy Randomizer League. ShoFukomachi, very important, pivotal in my personal ways that I got here to Final Fantasy Randomizer. He's been great. He's been here since the beginning. I am so excited. This is an all West Coast matchup between these two. Caleb, give it to us, buddy.
I am also excited for this match. LordFizzlebeef has been super helpful with me integrating into this community, helping me out, getting my early game figured out after my first match with you, Will. And ShoFukomachi is somebody that I've watched in the past. He's somebody whose races I've been keeping track of, and don't sleep on him. He may not have the fizzle and the sizzle that we got with LordFizzlebeef, but he's going to bring it today for sure.
You can't sleep on either of these two players, Lyra. You talked about a double red mage for Fizzlebeef on the right, white mage. If that white mage pays off for ShoFukomachi, that could be huge. You're a big fan of the white mage and the white wizard, Lyra. That's your favorite.
I am indeed the White Witch, and without someone just being there purely for support, you have to actually make those gambles and spend those spell slots, and just it can bite you in the butt depending on the spell setup. So I definitely like Sho's a little bit better, even though we all want a solid race between these two.
Danny3883, the great tracker, best in the business. She's in the background helping us out as our maiden voyage kicks off. Lyra SRL, Ray Fades, Caleb, Will Cleosis here to tell you this great story tonight live on Twitch.
Oh,
Speaking
man.
of that, what a white mage setup that is. Harm 4, Cure 4, Lightning 3 showing up in the black.
We have the magic to get this seed going for sure.
That Cure 4 is going to be Red Mage learnable, obviously into the Red Wizard as well. That's big for LordFizzlebeef. And LordFizzlebeef, being himself, he's already on his way to the Temple of Fiends.
Absolutely, this man does not waste any time when it comes to cracking open these seeds. I know myself, I'll spend at least maybe like a full minute in Corneria shopping, but Fizzle's showing you 45 seconds in, he's already checking the first chest in Temple.
So interestingly enough, no save items, no heal pods. They have to actually run in and just start blasting away very, very quick, or they're going to start resetting back.
not much doing in the early Temple Fiends. About 3,000 in cash and a large knife as Fizzle's about to walk into the room with Garland and see if he's hiding anything scary.
Yeah, pretty subtle move from Lord Fizzlebeef. As ShoFukomachi's about to find out, he's in that long run right now, and then there's a couple encounters in another long run as well. Lord Fizzlebeef is a master of figuring out mapping and knowing the encounter table. He's got that in his head. He's also got in his hands a ship and a floater at the 90-second mark.
Oh, man. Will, Lyra, you guys got your jetpacks ready? Because this is going to be a fast open world seed right here.
This is exactly the kind of thing we actually wanted to see this tournament because we haven't seen many of these seeds at all. They've all been some manner of marsh trolling. I don't think we're going to have any of that tonight.
Who does this advantage which player, do you think? Being it setting up right now.
I think it's an advantage to Fizzlebeef because Fizzlebeef has a little bit, for my opinion. I mean, I'm not as familiar with Sho and how he runs, but I think Fizzle's going to take that ship and floater. I would imagine he may not go right for the floater, but he might check Onrak, a city that is locked behind the canoe with the floater. So he might check that just in case it ends up being Provoca or Crescent Lake. But I think, he's going to go.
With Fear and Lamp being available for Sho and not exactly for Fizzle, I know where my heart is, but I think both of these runners are so even that it's going to be.
Yep, and Sho's getting the good news that he's got his float boat and his water boat. And he's going to be checking out a Corneria in the Inner Sea within the next 20 seconds.
I've got to think that routing is going to be pivotal. Can you hit the right location to get through that is required with the spells that are at hand. Lightning 3 so far. Lord Fizzlebeef finds the Fane and the old Melmon, so he gains that information. But I've got to think that this comes to routing and decision-making for two evenly matched West Coast players.
And Fizzle looks like he's actually he's either taking the slightly longer way or he's gonna route in a Elfland check on his way to get the airship.
So there's something interesting for Sho right there. Fizzle didn't check this, but there was actually some fairly mid-price silver swords right there in Corneria. It's something interesting to come back to.
How much were the silver swords, Lyra? I missed that.
About 3,400.
Okay, that's a little pricey, but definitely something that if you're not finding weapons early game, it'll definitely help out all those red pixeled sprites you got on your team.
Lord Fizzlebeef didn't stop to pick up any type of pure potions or anything like that. He's gonna route in this Elfland check to get this information. It's Melmon, Meridian BC's favorite town. He's gonna go in there and save. Excuse me, he does have pure potions. The thing was that had he not had pure potions, you don't hear that sound and you don't lose hit points when you're in the ship and going. Same as the canoe. Lord Fizzlebeef knew that, but he's gonna go in, save anyway, get his spell charges back. He's gonna mow everything down on his way to the Ryukon Desert.
I think that's something that's actually not a bad idea, considering it's right there, you have a dock, there is no need to just drag yourself all the way back around worst case, because again, there weren't any save.
That is true. That would have definitely made the routing plan that I suggested a little bit trickier without being able to save scum it through the open sea should something nasty show up on sharks or sags or the kaizukos. So yeah, definitely a smarter
save items. Fizzle finds a loaded on-rack. The houses were only 1,000 gold each. What a play for...
And we're getting a starter check at the 5-minute mark. That's how jet this seed is, right? And Sarda hands over the Lonely King's crown. So Fizzle's that's a nice quick check from right where he's at on the map to quickly pop over. He's got the spells to take care of that encounter, and he's just gonna be probably following these quest chains.
Yeah, that's 5 key items already for Lord Fizzlebeef. ShoFukomachi right behind him. Make it 6. That's the mystic key for Lord Fizzlebeef. That's
huge this early in the game because he can pop in, check these 3 locked chests, fly up to Dwarf Cave, come back to Corneria, and that's how many chests is that, Will?
In Corneria, there's 6. Gosh, I think there's, basically a dozen in Dwarf Cave. Lord Fizzlebeef is going to be able to route that in as ShoFukomachi hits the air pre-6-minute mark. When you hit the air pre-6 minutes and you're not the first in the air, you know you have the jetpack on, like Caleb said earlier. Lord Fizzlebeef is going to look for money. He's going to look for potentially a weapon. Maybe to let go one of his light warriors, potentially. He's going to probably look for towns very quickly. Cardia Islands is also on the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he's going to have, even if Dwarf Cave turns out to be a bust, it's still going to probably hold close to 10k in cash.
Hooray! So with the caliber of these two runners, with the speed that we have available for both of them, do either of you think this could potentially be an hour-long seed and nothing?
You know what, Larry? You took the thought out of my mind. I was actually going to ask you if you should see a nuke, a fade, a invis 2, a free defense, or something along those lines. We may be watching the record coming up, probably from both players, potentially here tonight, live on Speed Gaming for the Swiss rounds of the 2019 Spring Tournament. The way that this is shaping up.
So a lot of a lot of money in the Dwarf Cave there, but LordFizzlebeef also finds the Aegis Shield. That's actually super useful for later on.
Not to be outdone, ShoFukomachi finds the Thor's hammer hiding in Matoya's cave.
But LordFizzlebeef one up some Lyra. That's the game changer, and it was in Canaria's armory. LordFizzlebeef now has the Vorpal Blade, the Fiend Slayer.
What a find 7 minutes into this adventure. I cannot believe we have so much endgame gear this early. That fighter's going to be rocking it.
This is probably one of the wildest starts I've seen to a seed in this tournament, and it's fitting that it happens here in the 5th round as both of these players are racing for their chance to get into the bracket stage.
Yeah, LordFizzlebeef with 6 key items, ShoFukomachi getting to 6 key items. He's following in the footsteps of LordFizzlebeef so far. Fizzlebeef doing a little bit of exploration. He wants the towns. He wants Provoca and Elfland. He wants to make a decision if he wants to let go of one Light Warrior, maybe even 2. And he needs to decide which one. The Cure 4 right now tends to favor the Red Mage.
Okay, just to make sure, yeah, he didn't sell the Vorpal. Yeah, put your sheaths away, folks. It's not going to go crazy.
And we got route divergence. Sho is going right to Cardia.
I like this play from Sho. A lot of chests, he's looking for money. It's the same idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Fizzlebeef is taking care of some what I like to consider admin tasks. He's just doing the logistic support for his Light Warriors. He's making sure they got the items that they need to do any sort of successful fiend dive or dungeon dive that he might want to do while he's on the road here.
Sho finding the flame armor, that's pretty solid early on, and definitely pretty decent in the late game.
Absolutely.
Let's see if LordFizzlebeef moves on to check some more towns. Does he head to Gaia, the original Gaia? He's looking for Provoca and Elfland. Great play from LordFizzlebeef. That's what he's looking for. Is it Provoca? It is not. But 25% of the magic will be found in a lot of information for LordFizzlebeef on the right-hand side of your screen. He finds absolutely nothing in the Black Magic level 3 shop.
Yeah,
Show
it might.
The pro ring there, and the white.
It might be time to put the captain of your team to sleep for a little bit.
It's a white shirt for ShoFukomachi in the Cardia Isles. That's life in the second slot of level 4 white magic. That is White Mage and White Wizard exclusive. Advantage ShoFukomachi on that.
Absolutely.
No black magic either, Lyra. Lightning 2 and, well, my favorite, Bane. You really got to know how to use it. But no sign of nuke. There's a ruby for sale as well.
Yep. And I've seen it where there's ruby locked loose items, so I wonder if Fizzle's going to come back and pick them. There's a cautionary tale. This I think was it last night there was that race where it kind of came down to the ruby check.
Yeah, if anybody wants to remember that particular mess, it all came down to that ruby actually paying off huge. The Titan's Trove is something that or just tend to save for last, but you have the airship at like less than 10 minutes. Just go do it if you have the access to it.
Exactly. It was dirt cheap too. It was only 10k.
Lord Fizzlebeef's continuing the dig for Provoca. He's headed directly to the original Lefane. He's looking for Warp, Exit, Fast, Temper, and Nuke, and he finds the new Provoca. We're gonna have to wait a little bit. He's gonna have a little chit chat with Vicky, and take out the pirates first.
This will be his seventh key item already, and if he goes back and buys that ruby, that's 8 key items already.
Oh, it's a ribbon. That does not count as a key item. There are 21 in the game that the game considers a key item, the loot, the mystic key, that sort of thing, Oxio. The ribbon is not. It's just a very sought-after treasure.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to find 10 minutes into the game, basically.
Now we get to see what those spells actually hold us for us at level 2. Level 2 white has Fade, Harm 3. Let's Satyr there for black.
That's pretty good with the double red mage. Have some backup swingers for you.
We have not seen Fast. Is that correct? I don't see it anywhere.
Right,
No. I don't think anybody checked the level 5 magic either in Melmon.
Okay. There's one slot that the black mage can't learn, and 2 that the red mage can't learn in level 5 black magic. I've gotta wonder if Lord Fizzlebeef goes out of his way to find that. I know that's what he's looking for. He's looking for Nuke, Fast, and Temper. He found the Fade. Also Life 2, I don't think we've seen that as well. He knows that Life 1 is out for him. ShoFukomachi, his opponent, will have that. Sho's making the same moves that Lord Fizzlebeef did. He's headed towards the original Fane. He's looking for Baroka, and he will find it.
Speaking of finding things from the Zombles, found some stone glaring. Yeah, that's a reset right there.
And
Stone.
question in chat, Fade red magic learnable? Absolutely. All white and black magic at level 2 is learnable by the red mage.
We're going to swing our audio over, so Lord Fizzlebeef checks the Elfin Castle Armory. He continues his search. He's headed to the Marsh Cave.
Might as well. You got the fades now. You can make quick work of this, and you have the key, so you can go ahead and do a full clear of this place if you want to. Get your hearts and minds clear and not ever have to come back to this place.
Top side of Marsh first. This is an interesting play with the key on the table. You can just full clear this and again never come.
Yeah, I like the top play first. It's a quick reset out if there's nothing up here. And there's only one link chest up here, and the last thing you want to do is orphan a chest.
Oh my!
Oh.
That's non-elemental damage heaven nuke from the ghoul first spell. Lord Fizzlebeef does not do a hard reset. He soft resets, just trying to find out the contents of the chest. Now, ghouls, I'm trying to think of where else they turn up. I think they might be in Earth Cave. They can pop up later. I think it's Spectres and Geists in the Ice Cave, so I don't think that's going to be too dangerous for the rest of this game.
Yeah, I think you could just... I think they're in Temple of Fiends on the first floor, and I believe they might be an overworld encounter in certain, like, swampy areas. But that might just be a bad memory on my part.
This seed is something else already.
Okay, an update behind the scenes. We have lost ShoFukomachi at this point in time. He left the race room. He disappeared. Obviously, his stream stopped first. We knew that there was a stream issue based upon his timer freeze. You can see him right around the 13-minute mark. The leader of Final Fantasy Randomizer is behind the scenes along with myself. We are chatting in our private race room. Lord Fizzlebeef continues his raid at the top of Marsh Cave. At this point in time, ShoFukomachi has actually forfeited. We're still working on that. And we can see Lord Fizzlebeef freezing. We understand that ShoFukomachi has lost his save file. And yes, it was a crash.
Oh no.
So we're still working on it. So fans, it's gonna be just a moment. I'm gonna work on this. Caleb, do you have the schedule up for some of the upcoming matches, Lyra, so we can get some of those out? Coming up, the midnight special. I've got a match tomorrow afternoon as well.
Sure.
Sure,
Like,
Sam.
I just got to pull my phone up real quick. I bring up the schedule. I know we have the midnight special, like you said, Will. And that is at 3 a.m. today, or actually 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Monochi 85 against Zardia. You can find that on Speed Gaming.
Eastern time. It's Eastern time. 3 a.m. We call it the midnight special 4.
Yep, and then tomorrow at noon Eastern time, we have Will Cleosis, the man in the booth right now with us, against Wab. At 3 o'clock Eastern time, I'll be racing against Rumblefish82 on Speed Gaming. Channel yet to be determined. At 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, we have Q Kitsuki against DD Gamings. 6:30 tomorrow Eastern, we have Elastoid versus Lord of the Synth. Also, we have Moist Mogwai and the Hangry Canuck, and that will be a special sort of restream happening on Lord Fizzlebeef's channel. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Falconic and Tristal. And then Sunday, rounding out our weekend, we have Shadow Walker and One Fine Day at 12 p.m. Eastern, and Gouda 632 and Doogie MacGyver at 5:30 Eastern. And it looks like our last scheduled match right now is Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Sawny Wrath against Dangwoo.
What a schedule we have for this weekend, folks. So definitely don't look away because you might miss something. This is something that's going to be one for the ages for everybody involved. So it looks like the runners have agreed to a rematch. Now, the time and place, we're going to figure this out. Oh, it may just be...
All right, so yeah, while we're figuring that out, what matches are you looking forward to, Lyra, in the next coming days?
That's really hard. Naturally, it's going to be... I want to stay up for the Mono Czar Midnight Special because last week is something special as well with Will in the booth and then all sorts of fun community members being there. And that was quite a race in itself. Zara is known for having some really weird luck when it comes to seeds and just all sorts of treasures right there. Naturally, the Will match tomorrow is great. There is no bad runs out of any of these matchups in Week 5.
Yeah, coming up tomorrow, May 11th, 2019, the narrowly 3-1 Dragon Slayer Will Cleosis, fresh off his first loss to the Lone Wolf One Fine Day, moves on to take on the 3-1 Wab. One of the tournament surprises, the quiet Wab, looking to take out Will Cleosis, who is at his weakest right now. That story will be told by the Enforcer Falconic FF. And Dark Moon X will be joining you for that show tomorrow. It's a high noon showdown. Saturday, May 11th, right here. It's going to be live on the Speed Gaming family of networks. And coming up a little bit later, Caleb, you talked about it. The Enforcer Falconic himself, he's going to put down the headset, and he's going to get in the ring. And he's playing the former champion. He's playing the Dragon. Tristal MTG. I can't wait for that. That's going to be at... 9 p.m. Eastern? 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, May 11th. And we have word that the history of Falconic and what it is that he's done throughout the tournament and his odd party compositions and what it is that he's doing will be featured yet again. Bringing you that call will be Shadowwalker 227, the Panther, and Speed Gaming's own Cyclone GU. All that tomorrow with a whole bunch of other matches as well. As mentioned, Elastoid, Lord of the Synth, Moist Mogwai taking on the Hangry Canuck. That's going to be actually an offshoot match. It's going to be broadcast by Lord Fizzlebeef. We are set up almost to try it again. Zardia, thank you behind the scenes. Zar, the leader of Final Fantasy Randomizer, he's really showing what he does here, Lara. You know Zar quite well, so do I as well. He's got a match coming up in mere hours, and he's here behind the scenes, making sure everything gets going for Final Fantasy Randomizer. He puts it first. He's got these racers going. We're about to dance in just a few seconds again.
That's why they call him the founder, Will.
I can definitely get on board with that. Everybody in this community is just that close to each other, always wanting to see some good sportsmanship. You can't get this anywhere else.
So just so everybody in chat is aware, this is a new seed for these runners.
A shame we had to throw the old one out because of how fast it was. But here we go, and Viz exits. What a level!
Same party makeup. This time, exit is only going to be available. ShoFukomachi. LordFizzlebeef is re-rolling. He sees all the garbage magic that he thinks is garbage and level 1 black magic. Only zap. ShoFukomachi is going to continue. LordFizzlebeef is going to go to a white mage. There it is. White mage is named exit. That's why he took it. Great move. Veteran move from LordFizzlebeef.
Absolutely.
What a difference, Lyra. Look at the change. LordFizzlebeef way out of the gates it's the same design. I mean, it's the same flag set. Now you got LordFizzlebeef re-rolling. Now ShoFukomachi, this time, he's the first one out of Canaria.
As you said, it was a veteran move, but that just proves how ready, willing, and able Fizzle was actually able to just completely go and just restart everything on a second's.
And we're about to find out what this Temple of Fiends holds for these runners now.
Fizzle the first one to actually get into the Temple of Fiends this time.
Yep, Sho was out there taking encounters, looking to level up, get a little bit extra money to buy short swords. Uh-oh.
Wolves. There's Zap from LordFizzlebeef. He's down to 2 warriors. ShoFukomachi's closing out on the Temple of Fiends. What a change from before. Let's see what LordFizzlebeef does. Is he going to go for the chest? He is. Oh, this isn't a party that can run very well. 2 HP on Lyra's favorite, the White Mage. The spiders bite the White Mage. The White Mage has gone. LordFizzlebeef resets. ShoFukomachi assumes the lead.
Spider bites are indeed pretty bad in this universe, so yeah, Fizzle had to reset out of.
Grimps aren't really messing around either on LordFizzlebeef's side.
Now this is a reroll, but we haven't seen anything scary yet. Oh, speaking of scary, there's some glare from.
Yeah, this seed isn't being as nice as the previous seed was. That's for sure.
There was a Zazzle too. Oh wow, here we go. We go from free to troll in just a matter of an RN.
What a difference already. Caleb, you said it in the intro. Right after we introduced the runners, and we talked about the runners, and we talked about how this being week 5 of Swiss and how much is really on the line in this match. You talked about how much LordFizzlebeef has helped you, and how classy LordFizzlebeef is. Tell us what I know you want to say, so I know what you're thinking. Give it to us, buddy.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't think it's just Fizzle. I think it's indicative of what any veteran runner would do in this community. I mean, it's clearly something that's outside of Sho's control, and FizzleBeef just showing you the character of the people in this community. Willing to re-roll, willing to throw away a lead that he had and gamble again on a fresh seed. I think it just speaks to the character of the individuals that we have in this community, and specifically the runners we got right now running. This is awesome. I'm really glad that we got a chance to re-roll, and we're doing this again.
Gold bracelet in Conaria, a lot of money too. Sho's actually making the right play here because that money's gonna help out super early. Silver helmet and
yep. So we do get the key. So no floater ship this time, but the key's there, and it's just nice. It's just as nice to find this early too. Having to rely on zap strats, it took Sho about almost all 4 casts to get that zap to hit, and Fizzle gets it on the first try. So RNG is kind of doing him some favors right now. Hey Will, we got a question in chat about encounter manipulation. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, well, first off, we'd like to welcome Fate. Another Fate. More Fate right here. live in Final Fantasy Randomizer. It's a question about encounter manipulation and exactly what that is. Manipulation, of course, being a strong term. Shadow Walker 227, one of the best that does it, as is Lord Fizzlebeef. What we're gonna do is, Fate, I think you're gonna be with us for a little while. We're gonna wait off just a little bit, and we're gonna wait until one of the players starts to exhibit that, and then either myself or Caleb are gonna go ahead and go through. It involves saving. And on the original Nintendo, it involves the power on, power off, which is called a hard reset, or just the reset button itself, a soft reset, and the encounter table itself, and how players can utilize save items, houses, tents, and cabins in order to manipulate the encounters that they get, either to their advantage in not getting them, or to their advantage of they want them. So we're going to go through that in just a little bit for you, Fate.
Yep, I do like that they're finding loose houses. That's one of my favorite early game items to find in these free chests as you're exploring the early continent. Free houses make the game so much easier early on. You get the save option, like you said, Will, to kind of help with that encounter manipulation, but you also get your spell charges back, which is so clutch early on when you're just amassing levels after levels after levels. You get those houses and you can start actually seeing the benefits of that without actually having to truck it all the way to a nearby inn. It's awesome to find.
Let's see if we can see it right now. ShoFukomachi's walking south. This will be a little bit of a walk. He triggers the bridge sequence. Lord Fizzlebeef is saving a Canaria. He's going to hit the road. He's going to start hiking. Look at Lord ShoFukomachi saves right now, and he moves forward. Continues to move forward. He gets a long walk. He's going to stop off and turn in the Mystic Key. We didn't get a chance to see it there, Fate, but Lord Fizzlebeef certainly will show us as the imps have something.
Yeah, we have route divergence too. So Show's heading south, Fizzle's heading north.
It's a heal helmet and 25,000 gold lira. You need gold early in this, and the heal helmet's even sellable as well. Advantage ShoFukomachi as the imps just glared Lord Fizzlebeef.
Sho picked up a ton of money in the Dwarf Cave, too. That was very unsung on that one, but Sho is swimming in gold now super, super early. This has got to make the game so much.
Yep, and that's one of the benefits of finding that early key is you can check all these chests where in other seeds you won't get these chests until mid-game, maybe even in the late game when you're digging for what could be a loose item. To get access to that early money, potentially early gear is huge, and Fizzle's going the other way, so we'll see if it pays off for him. He knows that those key lock chests are more plentiful in the southern half of the inner sea, but he's checking Matoya and Provoka first.
You see ShoFukomachi getting into a lot of encounters over and over and over. Finally, he resets. Here's the long walk. Runs into the wolves again. He's just trying to find out what this town is, as we find Provoka in the original Provoka. Advantage shifting to Lord Fizzlebeef as he talks to Bicky. Melmond is found in the old Elfland for show.
It's good information to have, but I definitely feel like Fizzle has the advantage here with the getting the key item off Bicky. But we do find Life and Fade in level 5 Magic, Will. And both of those are going to be Red Wizard learnable.
I missed it. Slots 1 and 2?
You got it. And
Temper is not. Temper's the third slot. That's going to be locked to the Black Mage and Red Wizard. Lyra, what did Lord Fizzlebeef get?
That was just the TNT, so Fizzle definitely playing off dividends and going right first. Will have the advantage going into Dwarf Cave to check stuff. Doesn't have to potentially double or triple dip.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially if this turns into something like a lazy dwarf. It would be kind of a little bit of a disadvantage if it turns out to be the crystal, but that's something that Sho would also have to face with the having to trek back and forth across the intercom.
XX is available.
Heal
Level 1
2
White Magic
Warp.
Warp is available. Level 2 Black Magic, as well as Ruse. Ruse being very notable because a knight, a promoted fighter, can learn Ruse. You can see it right here on Lord Fizzlebeef's screen.
Absolutely. And Heal 2 is pretty nice too at that early level. You're going to need a lot of slots of that. And it kind of saves a little bit of time when you're in the later dungeons and you don't want to be menuing and healing up 30 HP at a time. Every fighter individually, you can just Heal 2, spam Heal 2 a few times out of combat and basically get the same effect much faster.
Sho into Marsh Cave now. Definitely looking for some treasure in the top half. Well, this could be interesting, or it could be very, very dangerous, but there was some stun involved.
Sho just ran from my least favorite party pack in the Marsh Cave. That Arbone Bone Crawl fight.
Hooray!
Hooray, Dwarf. That pack is never fun to run into. And TNT turns into the chime, so definitely needed, just not right now.
I was
Blaze
Blaze from the undead instead of Nuke. Sho is leaving. Lyra, why do you think Sho made this dive?
Potentially information, but I think Sho might be a little bit nervous here, because that's not something you would normally do, and just go poke your head in and then immediately come back out, because Marsh Cave is not exactly in the way of a lot of things. Had a scene like this recently where I actually had to backtrack my way all the way from Marsh to Provoca, and it's not a friendly trip. It's at least about 5 minutes depending on your encounters.
It does kind of feel bad to have to be relying on Zap to clear out these larger encounter groups. Nowhere near as nice as finding that Lightning 3 at level 1, but Zap seems to be getting it done pretty well.
Exiling our baddies to the 4th dimension, the dimension between walls, as Fizzle is actually heading right towards north. No crown here, so this is just for money and the heal helmet that we saw.
Yep, and Sho is going to show us what the Elfland Armory has: a tent, soft potion, $46, and a heal helmet.
Another heal helmet.
Yeah, those are nice to find too. But I typically try to only use those in sort of unrunnable fights where the mages kind of need something to do.
Especially that white mage for both of these runners, because yeah, white magic, once you run out of fade charges, you're going to be poking around with something and you need something to do, and waiting.
Sho is backtracking. He made the play on Marsh Cave. He made the decision to go ahead and forego Matoya's Cave and the original Provoca location based upon exit. That's why he did it. And he found out some bad information that LordFizzlebeef may just find out very quickly, that Marsh Cave just might not be the friendliest of caves.
Yep, and it is going to be it is going to be hiding our progression too, so they're going to have to go in here.
It's the necessity that we just don't want to admit to right away, but at the same time you just have to, because yeah, 5 minutes going back just for level 2 spells. The level 2 spells are great, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, this does, like, the difference between this seed and the first seed highlight the love that I have for this randomizer, where what a difference a seed can be. In the previous seed, 15 minutes in, we were flying around the world, we were checking incentive locations, we were already up to almost 8 key items, and now we're in a slog. And this is where the grit and determination of these runners is gonna come to fruition, and we're gonna see who has the tenacity to get through this Marsh Cave first and move on and get off this early continent.
Yeah, it's kind of like the weather. You wait a couple minutes and the things can change. The undefeated, by-wielding Elite 8 competitor Crab Cakes pointing out a few things in chat that with Exit and Warp, it shouldn't have been a problem, certainly with Warp, LordFizzlebeef. But that's why Sho made the move, was Exit. I like the move. That's a Sun Sword, I believe, pickup for Fizzlebeef. He uses the Exit. He's in, he's out that quickly. I like the play that Sho had. He's going to go ahead. He didn't like it. He's going to go on and move backwards and attempt to reevaluate the situation as LordFizzlebeef is going towards the incentive chest deeper inside the Marsh Cave.
Yep, that Sun Sword find is huge. That is arguably, next to the Masmune, the best sword that your fighter can wield before promotion. Question in chat from Tyrnex: is this a reroll? Yes, it is. Unfortunately, ShoFukomachi had a computer error and lost his save file, so we both runners decided to reroll, and we have been exploring a much more challenging sea than the previous one.
Zeus Gauntlet fine for Fizzle. Hooray, I have something to do.
And we're going to get our first look at this Marsh incentive item right after Fizzle deals with these pesky wizards.
3 for 3. Exile to the 4th dimension. Level 5 for Lord Fizzlebeef. And he picks up Matoya's Crystal.
That kind of hurts, because it's something both runners are going to have to do, but trekking back across isn't going to feel good, especially for Sho having left and walked all the way back to Matoya and Provoka, to come all the way back here, to walk all the way back. That's just going to feel bad for him.
Yeah, imagine the great routing had he been able to get that out.
Absolutely.
It'd been superb.
Yeah, without a doubt. It could have been a difference in this early game for sure.
G.I. Joe check for here, as the covers are indeed unrunnable, but tries to zap him.
Did you say G.I. Joe check?
You
That's amazing.
ShoFukomachi has a chit-chat with Bicky, initiates the battle with the pirates. He's going to pick up his dynamite. That will lead to the required chime.
And Fizzle picks up an ice sword for his red mage. That is another great find for this early game. You're not really going to find better swords than that for this party at this level. Apart from the Masa, of course.
Masa is definitely the most friendly of swords for most of our runners. That's why so many people in the community tend to favor it, because literally anybody can equip it, even something that's not necessarily meant to attack them.
Oh yeah, I remember playing the vanilla game. The Masa always ended up on my white mage, and that Tiamat and Chaos fight. It was always on the white mage for some reason. Oh man, loose floater and Marsh.
You have to be kidding me!
That is wild. That is wild. Still no way to get there. We need the canoe or the boat, but still.
Yeah, one of those water vessels will come from Matoya, or eventually from Matoya. It could be the orbs, something along those lines as well.
And
that's unbelievable.
That's one of those chests that a lot of runners will skip. Once they get that incentive item, they walk out of here and they're like, I'll come back here. And Fizzle showing those veteran instincts, like, I'm here, I got warp exit, I might as well clear it and see what this got, and it pays off for him.
I've skipped it all tournament. All tournament.
Sounds like you might need to make an adjustment before your race tomorrow.
That's coming up about 14 hours from now, noon Eastern, May 11th, right here on the Speed Gaming family of networks. The winner moves on to the playoffs. The loser will move down to 3 and 2 and have to go in the Shark Tank of the play-in race. Wukleosis versus Wab.
Yeah, you're not lying. That 3 and 2 play-in race is gonna be a meat grinder. Almost as much as that 2 and 3 last chance qualifier that's going to happen on Saturday, the day before the play-in race. And for the player that makes it out of that last chance qualifier, just to jump from the frying pan into the fire, I do not envy that person at all. To go from the 2 and 3 play-in to the 3 and 2 play-in, oof, that's a next level nerves test, man.
You know, it's funny because you know what happened last year. For anyone that maybe knew the community or maybe didn't catch last year's tournament, I was heavily involved in it. I was in that play-in race. Valconic was in that play-in race. High Spirits, Hangry Canuck, a whole bunch of us. We never made it. But 2 players who did make it, X-Ice Blue and Edgeworth, were 3 and 2. They had to get through the play-in race just to get to the brackets. They went on to the finals last year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hope you're ready to change the game tomorrow as we're changing the game tonight. Fizzle is definitely a huge lead, but Sho is quite just running back up and getting back.
And Sho's going to turn in his TNT and get the unfortunate news that it is not progression right now. It is just the chime. As Fizzle, blink and you miss it, he's already walking up to Matoya's cave. Wow, you want to talk about encounter manipulation? He found that hero run, and he is moving across this continent. Let's see what Matoya's got. Is it a ship? Is it a canoe?
That doesn't feel very good.
I think it feels great if you're Fizzlebeef, because now you're less than 5 minutes away from flying around again.
Now, it is true you don't have to go all the way around the west side again. You can actually go around the east side. Little known fact for our newer folks in the community.
Absolutely.
The inner sea continent is really...
Absolutely. And he can route in if he was feeling so bold. I know Fizzlebeef's not going to do it because it's not the runner that he is, but he could check the first 2 floors of Volcano, get that armory check, as well as checking Crescent Lake on his way down. But I'm pretty sure he's just gonna hightail it all the way down.
Fizzlebeef needs heal potions. He needs them now.
Yeah, his heal 2 charges aren't going to last very long.
Show actually in March Cave now, taking a little bit of a punch fest with some of these.
ShoFukomachi tries to maneuver through the marsh cave. He's working on picking up his floater, and he's into the top first. We've got a comment actually in chat from the enforcer Falconic FF, and it bears repeating. I'm just going to quote it out for anyone watching later and potentially on YouTube. Where we came from, Caleb. We came from there, and they can't see the chat.
Absolutely.
So, and he says, and I quote, I was at Chaos at the time that would have netted me 2nd place. It was actually 3rd. I rewatched it. But still, that would have been amazing. And then he wiped. He wiped on Chaos. And he perished. And he says, Falconic says, and I quote, I spent a year thinking about that. Here we are a year later. And I can't think that the Enforcer wants to let that ever happen again. As Werewolves with Ice 2 destroy Fizzlebeef's party, he's down to 2 warriors.
They also had Transfer, which is something that completely just destroys your defenses, and at these early levels, you just don't have the magic to defense to even try to resist that kind of...
Yeah, and Fizzlebeef is making slow work of this river system. He's already lost 2 light warriors, and I would imagine he would probably start doing that, what Will and I were talking about, that encounter manipulation. Unrunnable Caribs, that feels bad too.
Those piranhas.
The Magikarp special here for Lord Fizzlebeef. One of these days they're going to evolve into something really vicious, but they could potentially have something pretty nasty right now. Flail is definitely on the table somewhere.
In Soviet Russia, you struggle against Magikarp. But he gets through it.
On the floor.
Show's going to get some good news in here. He's going to get his Ice Sword. He's going to get his Sun Sword. He's going to get that crystal. Will he check the chest and get the floater? I would imagine so. He's got the key. He's going to full clear this basement.
So just shout outs to everybody joining us tonight. Speed Gaming, here we are. Lord Fizzlebeef versus ShoFukomachi. A lot of people in this community here tonight for this incredible race. We got Tarnin, Tyrannex, Maya, Crab Cakes, a lot of high value runners here. And we have so many fans here tonight too. Maverick and Nissa. I'm blown away by how many people have actually shown up here tonight.
People need their FFR in their life, man. And Fizzle, it finds out that Crescent Lake is Crescent Lake. So we'll see what the old men are having as they prepare for their party next weekend.
Yeah, Sho didn't get the zap rolls that Lord Fizzlebeef quite did. But he's got that Zeus Gauntlet as well. A very rich Marsh Cave. Obviously a loose floater, the Zeus Gauntlet, a Sun Sword as well. ShoFukomachi closing in as he's up to level 7. And Lord Fizzlebeef, excuse me, Sho picks up his crystal. Lord Fizzlebeef picks up the tail. Oh, class changes on the table now as he's going to probably fly that way pretty quick.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a weird thing that those old men are preparing for a party with a rat's tail. It kind of makes you wonder what kind of party they're getting ready to throw for us next weekend.
Sho's actually making the full clear on Marsh. Going to be super excited to see this loose floater come.
Absolutely, and he exits right out, saves it, and He's onward and upward.
Some of our other favorites. My favorite, Animaniac, is here joining us live on Twitch. E-Tap. Oh, E-Tap, one of the best Final Fantasy Randomizer fans you're ever going to see. Lord Fizzlebeef makes his way towards Sarda in his lakefront property. He hands over the required cube.
And he is
also
at
joining us is Joe Main, Tarnin, Gregglypuff is here as well. Fate, both the Fates are here. We got a big party going on. Final Fantasy Randomizer.
At 25 minutes, Fizzle is at 11 key items already.
Hey, Will, how's the cube looking for it? Fog 2, Cure 3, Lamp, and level 3.
There's that fast at level 3. You like to see that.
That's
Fire
huge.
3, Lock 2 is huge.
ShoFukomachi trying to get away from the imps. They glared him. He's slowing down a little bit. Lord Fizzlebeef picking up some steam. Does he pick up Lamp? It's available for the White Mage. He gets Cure 3. And he'll come back for Lamp. I think he's going to come back later on.
Maybe. That's optimistic for sure.
Nothing in level 4 White Magic. How about level 4 Black Magic, Lyra? Ugh.
Dark. Ice 2's not bad either.
Yeah, this mid-game magic isn't panning out very well.
It does give you something to do with all those spell slots, and with level 20 and 25, you still have at least like 4 to 6. Like, there's just plenty there to do, and just it helps out for Topher and all the trash clears.
That's true. When we find 27k pro rings in the Elfland armor, a little too pricey for my liking, but they're there.
Definitely not as cheap as they were last year.
You know, Homer in chat pointing out, and we thank you very much, ShoFukomachi did not get either the Ice Sword or the Sun Sword out of the Marsh Cave. We're working on changing that background. It looks to be a little bit stuck on her tracker. We certainly do apologize. As ShoFukomachi picks up his canoe. The longer this seed goes and this match goes, incrementally the advantage goes to Lord Fizzlebeef based upon those two melee weapons.
Absolutely. And Fizzle gets the news about Life and Fate, and I would imagine he's going to beeline it right for the Cardi Islands, get his promotion, double back here so he doesn't have to double dip Melmond.
Definitely the value plays, right?
Cardia Forest, we got 2,900 cabin, $835. Not too much going right. Iron Shield, 191 bucks. Silver axe and about $7,000. A little bit of money, nothing too special.
7K's not bad, but yeah, there's gotta be better here.
Gonna check the Cardia Swamp, 133 bucks. Get blocked by a dragon, 604 bucks. Iron Gauntlets, even worse.
Still one more set of caves to check as Fizzle is gonna go ahead and class promote here. About 28 minutes in. What an adventure we have here tonight. Just joined by both of you, Caleb, Will. Anybody want to give us a small recap?
Sure, I can do that. So we have the King and the Princess held the key and the bottle, respectively. Bicky and Provoka had the TNT. Narek had the chime from that. The Marsh Cave held the crystal and a loose floater. Matoya held the canoe. The Sages in Crescent Lake had the tail. And Sarda had the cube.
Where'd you get that information from, Caleb?
Well, I've been using the information from Danny383, tracking this game for us, as well as my own little handy-dandy notebook.
Thank you. Behind the scenes, Danny3883, double duty tonight, doing this match right here live on Speed Gaming 2. Later on, Speed Gaming Prime, 3 a.m. Eastern Time, the Midnight Special 4. The 3-in-1 leader of Final Fantasy Randomizer, Zardia, takes on the 3-in-1 Buzzsaw, Minochi 85, Midnight Pacific Time. And on the call for that match, the Willuminati. Will Cleosis teams up back again with the Emerald City Saint, Will Bloodwork. See you there.
And Lefane is found at the vanilla on-rack location. And I think Fizzle's going to make a play that is after my own heart. He's going to dive Waterfall at level 8. I love it. Let's get it done. You've got exit. It's better than the situation that I was in a few weeks ago. Let's get it done, Fizzle.
That was a fun match, Caleb.
It was.
I like that decision.
It was a very fun match, man. It was probably the closest match I've had all tournament.
Yeah, and actually what Caleb is referring to is round 1. Caleb's first ever competitive match. It was against me. 14-second difference in finish. Great showing from the newcomer Caleb. And a diving waterfall at level 5. Love it.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate the kind words, and I'm going to humble brag for a second. That was my first competitive match and only the second seed that I had ever completed. I have since completed several more practice and preparing for my opponents, but yeah, that was a fantastic match, and I could have been happier to have a better competitor than you, Will, in that first week.
This is a great fight on the right side of your screen for LordFizzlebeef. Anything with dual Frost Gators, take a good look at the experience that LordFizzlebeef gets when he's able to take out this last Frost Gator. Even with 4 Light Warriors standing, he's going to get a couple thousand experience. Oh, excuse me, 1,600. And he's going to get a level, 2 levels, actually, for at least 1 Light Warrior.
Yep,
it's a great fight.
If he had one more key item, he would have been a lot closer to that. Probably about 2 grand experience for sure.
1.5 times XP would have put it at least about 2,400 almost. Yeah, that would have been huge, but still, Waterfall's got some decent XP too. Sho gonna go ahead and pick up his tail. As Fizzle has dived the waterfall, takes the Apocalypse ponies. Let's see what kind of matches they have here. Oh, fire. That's the second time we've seen fire this seed and in relatively quick.
And Sho checking the magic in Crescent Lake finds Cure 4 in level 6. I didn't see anything else. I just was too busy watching that Apocalypse pony fight, but I saw the Cure 4 and got excited, but it's a little outside of his price range. As he's going to go get his cube from Sarda. Will, you wanna sign that cube for him?
So it was Cure 4, Heal 3, Fade, Bane. That was quite a level 6, actually.
ShoFukomachi picks up his cube from Sarda, as Rayfade's Caleb considers signing lunch in the form of a knuckle sandwich.
Hey, if you ever want to get me back, man, just ask me about Masamune and Matoya's cave, and I'll eat crow all day long, dude.
Spicy.
And Sho is going to bypass the waterfall on-rack check and just go right first promotion. I like that play.
ShoFukomachi, so much experience, and I've got to think that he actually heads to Castle of Ordeal here first, as opposed to the waterfall area. We'll see what it is that he does. As LordFizzlebeef closes in on the robot, some call her Marcy. Is this required? We're gonna find out. Is it a cabin? Who knows?
We did get that out of bounds, Bat. I like to see that. I like to think that's a good run for a runner. I think I said good ruck. Good luck. Wow, learn to talk, Caleb.
Cockatrice is having the crowd control tonight. All of Fizzle's taking a little bit of a timeline.
You know, and I know LordFizzlebeef quite well. He is fuming right now at this fight. You never draw that many birds. There's lightning 3 from the cockatrices. Devastating LordFizzlebeef. There's toxic.
Oh no.
His knight's gone, his black wizard's gone, and his white wizard's asleep. Now he gets lightning 3 and another LordFizzlebeef has to reset.
Absolutely. You got to reset out of that fight. That's good information to have for the Earth Cave, though, for sure, and throughout parts of the Temple Ordeals. Those birds can be prolific.
Lyra, we've been through this. I remember you going through the new player initiative back when it was before the Ducklings, actually. We remember that seed that we had last year when we were practicing together, and we had a situation like that, and how upset you get. LordFizzlebeef was already a little, ticked off to begin with that the fight was taking too long, and then he gets that. knowing what you know of Fizzlebeef, do you think that bothers him, or is he cool enough to deal with that?
Considering how long he's been in the community, I've evolved ever since that day to where that kind of stuff, sure, it's a minor inconvenience. Sure, you might have to reset a couple times. You just blow on right past it, and that only comes with doing a whole lot of practice, a whole lot of watching videos. You just develop that cool cucumber that I like to just reference so much.
It's a much different fight, a much more normal fight full of mummies. He gets the Fire 3 off with initiative. He's got warp, he's got exit, he's going to be able to get out of here, so that's a distant memory. What that does yield is a little bit more time for ShoFukomachi to catch up. As the waterfall, as of now, not required, desired, but that's a ribbon. An ice shield, that's good. Not required. Okay.
Good money, though. Good money for sure.
Get a friend over on Sho's side. Sho chooses to accept the friendship and just bails right out. I definitely can get along with that.
How about this Friday night, live on Speed Gaming 2, later on, re-uploaded and reloaded over on YouTube, where Caleb came from and where I came from as well. The Final Fantasy Randomizer 8 is week 5 of the Swiss rounds. The winner gets a automatic playoff berth into the brackets. That's the Sweet 16. Huge match for both players. The loser will move on to the play-in race, where they're going to have to fight their way in through an absolute shark tank. Rafe hates Caleb of RafeHatesCaleb.com. We call him Caben. Caleb, the Baroness Lyra SRL, joining me right here. My name is Wikliosis. Right now, I am still the Dragon Slayer, and we are live, and great to be with you, too. We've been trying to get together forever, and I can't think of a better way to do it right here on this beautiful Friday evening in mid-May, right in the smack dab in the middle of the spring tournament.
24k herb. Wow, okay. We actually have our vendor item right there.
Yep, and that is the 12th key item for Fizzle, so he's going to start getting that XP boost and level 7 life 2 and harm. That life 2
and finding nuke in level 7 is.
That life 2 is Red Wizard learnable, which is huge. That means both parties could have 2 life 2 casters in the end game. That's definitely feels a lot better when those things in Temple of Fiends start punching your mages as hard as they can.
Fizzle doing something I definitely do not approve of. The show actually picks up the adamant from the tiny fairy. Well, that's progression question.
Yep, I would imagine Fizzle's on his way right down there now. He's going to get that check and turn in, and then he's probably going to pop back over, find out what that adamant goes, and I would imagine he's going to start diving incentive locations. He knows that ice is going to be required, as well as, well, he's already got the information about March, but he's definitely going to find out that Ordeals is required too.
Both runners high-fiving each other right here. Sho is on the way out. Fizzle's on the way in. Gonna be pretty excited to see some of this potentially, because with Fighter Rainbow, you have access to some of that endgame stuff, and you may not have the levels for it, but it's always nice to just have that thought in the back of your head that you don't have to.
Show's going right to turn in that orb. Or herb. Wow. Learn to talk, Caleb. It's a boat! So the ship was... The vendor item was not required. We could have skipped that herb.
Looks like it did get ShoFukomachi certainly past the 12 key item requirement at least. LordFizzlebeef is there as well, as he picks up his adamant from a tiny fair.
But the adamant was required, as Sho actually just picked up the Oxyale. For those that are newer to the community, the Oxyale is what's required for you to get into the Sea Shrine, which is one of our Fiend dungeons, and it's required to complete the game, so Sho's definitely happy to be making that trip Meanwhile, Fizzle is actually taking the check over to our deals. This can be pretty interesting.
Yep, so for endgame, we're still looking for the loot. We're still looking for the rod. And we're still looking for a loose item, which could be the ruby, could be the loot, could be the rod. Something will be hiding behind the slab, something will be hiding behind the crown, and the other will be loose.
Show having a bit of a toga party here as Fizzle runs into the Medusas, just hitting hard, well, not even hard-ish, just getting barbecued.
As Caleb just mentioned, that is some of the things that we are looking for. There are other things we are looking for as well that are not necessarily required. And over live in the chat, one of my favorites, Animaniac, is pointing out, Lyra, she's pointing out something else that we're looking for. Me and you think it's certainly required. Caleb's kind of jumping on board as well. There's one thing that we think that you need to complete this game, Lyra. Tell us about it.
In the words of Zack Ryder, woo woo woo, you know it, as we are indeed looking for the Vorpal. Fizzle would definitely love to see it this time.
MG Weirdo's got to write the Bane Sword.
That's the game clincher. A little bit close, just not quite the same. Not quite as.
LordFizzlebeef has entered Castle of Ordeal. Bit of an equipment advantage having that one ribbon from making that waterfall play. Waterfall not required. Vendor item not required. We do know that Castle Ordeal will be required. Be the loot, the rod, something that certainly leads to it as well.
Veteran move from LordFizzlebeef, utilizing the warp charges to go backwards in the pillar maze to avoid having to restart over and over and over again. And you have multiple casts of it too. What a just genius.
Yep, it's huge. It's one of my favorite things about this randomizer, because typically you don't have access, you really can't have access to the warp spell, considering it's a Black Wizard locked in Melmond in the vanilla game. But it makes this run through this Temple of Ordeals with these shuffled pillars so much easier.
Mage staff for Fizzle as we find Will's favorite monster ever, the man cats. Oh, PTSD.
Ah!
Opal shield, 600 gold. We're gonna find out what the progression is here, though, because the rest of that, well, the Opal shield's not bad. Fizzle's actually gonna take it. I can agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I know LordFizzlebeef very well as he picks up his rod from Castle Ordeal. The next stop on LordFizzlebeef's list, Mirage Tower.
Absolutely. I mean, you got the equipment to clear it out. You get good levels on your way up. It's got the best chest density for anywhere else he's got to check. We still got Ice Cave to check, and that could be the ruby, that could be the slab, that could be the crown. But we'll see how this goes.
Ice Cave's actually really strong. You have trash clearing potential because you have the mage staff. You don't have any light access to just give the fighter something to do, but you can just completely just destroy everything in there. And it seems to be required this seed, so the sooner the runners take care of it, the better.
ShoFukomachi making his way to Castle Ordeal. He's looking to pick up his rod. We think that LordFizzlebeef will head towards the Mirage Tower next.
Yep, short of the ruby ending up in Ice Cave and nothing being behind the ruby and those 4 chests in Titan's Trove, this, yeah, more than likely Ice Cave is required for this seed.
Crabcake's pointing out in chat, Ruby is the only bust item left. We saw what happened last night. There was a loose item in there, so not completely out of the way.
And it could be something like Ice is holding on to the crown, which turns into the slab, which turns into the ruby, and then it's loose loot out there somewhere.
Something we just didn't check out of there a second ago. Fizzle ran into the regular Catmen Death Touch. You find about up to 6 of them in some areas. That is...
Yeah, you don't want to find a loose Catman. It'll definitely put a hamper on your early Mirage thoughts, for sure.
There's the Lightning 3 and Temper pickups from Fizzle. Sho going through ordeals now.
Yep, and Animaniac in chat pointing out Catmen do what Catmen do, and Catmen do Death Touch in this scene.
Fizzle gonna go ahead and wake the prince up. Gonna get that item.
He's gonna get the bad news that it's a boat.
I've gotta wonder, Shadow Walker, I know you're out there. You know Fizzlebeef as well as I do. The frustration in the waterfall, he didn't like that. I know he doesn't like this. I've gotta wonder if that frustrates him a little bit. I know he wants to go to the Mirage Tower right now, but I've gotta think that the play is Ice Cave. Knowing that the Ruby and the Loot are still out there, you have to know whether or not you have to full clear that thing. So I've got to think that Ice Cave is next.
Yep, and with Warp, it's a much faster check than without it, so definitely. But then again, we've also seen a lot of these seeds, especially in week 4, week 5 of the Swiss tournament, where Earth was required. So Ice Cave could just be a red herring this whole time.
Hooray! 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 Fizzlebeef picks up his Oxtail. Once again, we have the Midnight Special coming up in just a little bit. Midnight Pacific time. 3 a.m. Eastern, 3-1. Zardia against 3-1 Minochi 85. And ShoFukomachi picks up his rod. A high noon showdown tomorrow, Saturday at noon Eastern. Wicleosis against Wab. There's another match coming up, Caleb, isn't there? Just after that, is that correct?
Yes, there is. At 3 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be taking on Rumblefish 82 for one of us will be playing to get into the last chance qualifier. Both of us are sitting at 1-3, and I don't even know if I want to win that race. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna run the best race I can, but running in that last chance qualifier, that is a frightening, an auspicious occasion for sure.
Look at it right there. Lord Fizzlebeef paused over his menu screen and did the math. Did not see the loot. Double checking that this is the right play, because he is dying to get into the Mirage Tower and the Floating Fortress. This is the right play. He has got to find out if it is the loot in here or something else, whether it's the slab, whatever, and whatever in the world it leads to. He wants to get that loot and move on with this game. He has no orbs lit. His opponent has no orbs lit. We are at the 48-minute mark, and I've got a feeling based upon that wipe in the waterfall that Lord Fizzlebeef is feeling uncomfortable.
So if you're Fizzlebeef, do you feel behind with this play then?
Me? No. Lord Fizzlebeef? No. Oh, it's loot. Wow. I don't think he feels behind. I think this is not what's supposed to be happening. I don't like this. I don't want to call it OCD. I want to call it, I have a plan and nothing better deter it. Lord Fizzlebeef enters go mode. We're going to call it the 48-minute mark. The loot was just sitting right there. So we know what is loose. It is the slab and some sort of chain that will lead to the ruby. No sign. We start to move Caleb now to endgame scenarios. There's one ruby. It was incentivized. It was found in Waterfall. We do not have a power gauntlet. We don't have the game changer. I mean, what else don't we have that you want, Caleb, in your match tomorrow at 3 p.m. right here on the Speed Gaming family of networks? And Caleb has lost power. ShoFukomachi is headed towards the ice cave. Lord Fizzlebeef is checking chests.
Still looking for that second loose item, potentially looking for something that's going to change the game, as it were. Sho joins Lord Fizzlebeef inside Ice Cave, finds a whole lot of luck.
Caleb shall return. Momentarily, Lyra is back. Lord Fizzlebeef has entered go mode. We called it the 48-minute mark, 48 minutes and change. So now we're on to endgame items, Lyra. One ribbon, you got out of the waterfall, weapons, defensive things. what are your top priority items as far as weapons and armor when you start to look to the end game if you're Lord Fizzlebeef at this point?
I would like one more ribbon personally. I would look for something a little bit more than just a defense sword, or say, like, I'm asking you something like that. It only takes one weapon to really just completely go crazy into go mode. But honestly, more defense than offense, because, again, we're not going double melee here.
Couple questions from chat that we want to get to. Has Lord Fizzlebeef done anything big that ShoFukomachi hasn't? The waterfall and its ribbon is really all that I can think of. ShoFukomachi enters go mode. We're going to call it the 50-minute mark. We are that close right now. This is going to be very interesting. Lord Fizzlebeef is going to head towards the Mirage Tower very quickly. We'll see where ShoFukomachi goes. Also, another comment from Animaniac, live in chat. Still looking for that Vorpal. I've got to think that the Vorpal is #1, Lyra, on both players' I must find list.
Not finding it here in Ice Cave so far. All these chests look to be complete potatoes, as Sho is going to find out that the Frost Dragons are not that.
You know, you're in Ice Cave. Both players are gonna check chests here, Lyra. I wouldn't do this.
No?
I not here. You see them running into mages. I mean, ShoFukomachi is really caught up to Lord Fizzlebeef. You know, is he one dungeon behind? No, he's actually not. He's an equipment ribbon behind at this point, and that's negotiable. I wouldn't be checking chests here, Lyra. I would have exited. I would have gotten out of here. Now I would have gone on. It's time to get some fiends. You got to get to that volcano. Check out the armory. As there's nothing here in Ice Cave.
That's something that I wasn't expecting, but Fizzle's going to go ahead and just go straight over to Volcano. I think this is probably going to be the better play overall.
Yeah,
there's a lot more item.
He likes to... Well, he has skipped before. The armory area. He's not going to do that here. I don't think he'll ever do that again. So he's going to check the armory and move on, more than likely. ShoFukomachi's going to finish clearing out this Ice Cave, find absolutely nothing. Both players still running with 4 Light Warriors standing.
Now, for those newer to the randomizer, the first chest that Fizzle passed by right there is actually free, because when you're running along the bottom side of something in a wall, there's the power bond for Fizzle. When you're running across the bottom like that, along the edges of the wall, you don't trigger the encounters at all. Black shirt for Fizzle.
Opal armor and a power gauntlet in the armory area for Lord Fizzlebeef. Is that enough? It's close, but I can't think that it is. Look at the menuing from Lord Fizzlebeef as ShoFukomachi is taking on the eye. Let's take a close look at what Sho decides to do.
1227, you're going to start actually taking encounters. Now, we saw, Will, in your last race that you decided to ignore the rest of the long hallway chest, and it almost bit you in the butt. If you're Fizzle and you know you watched that race, is that something you want to potentially double dive for, unless you absolutely...
Not at this point in the match, no. Both loose key items, progression-wise, in order to complete the game, have been located. Lord Fizzlebeef saved the volcano for last. Whether or not he did it on purpose, I'm not exactly sure. But being that he is in go mode, it's time to step on it. You're looking for a dense area, you're looking for greed, and you're looking for freebies. You don't really want to take any fights here in Volcano. The experience and the time that it takes to take them out is not really necessarily worth it. He skips one chest right there, and he's going for chest density. There's 5 chests right here. He's looking for a Vorpal Blade, a defense sword, a white shirt. I thought we saw a white shirt earlier. That might have been the earlier match, actually, that got re-rolled. But that's what it is that he's looking for, and he has no interest in doubling back. We will never see the Volcano or those chests for Lord Fizzlebeef again. If those are 2 ribbons up there, they're gone, and Lord Fizzlebeef will only have 1. We'd like to welcome back Caleb. Caleb, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you for welcoming me back. I guess there's a thunderstorm rolling through the area and power flickered for a second, so I'm back up and running. I got the stream up. I was just about to comment that Lord Fizzlebeef was in go mode, and my whole thing went down.
Speaking
Our
of going
tracker,
down,
Danny, pointing out the white
ShoFukomachi's
shirt.
timer is still going. This is different from last time. We're gonna keep an eye on that. Czar, if you're here. Okay, ShoFukomachi's back. I think it might have been a quick restroom break. The power gauntlet and the opal armor were located while you were gone, Caleb, in the volcano armory. Lord Fizzlebeef did pick it up, and he's on his way to light the first orb of this match, right around the 56-minute mark. Give us this fight, Caleb.
All right, so it looks like Fizzlebeef's going to do a little administrative work, get his warriors healed up before he's showing Carry One some respect. I can respect that. Just open up with a fight, a fade, and a fast on the fighter. Hit 3 hits, 90 damage. Fade rolls in for about 97. Fade from his white mage comes in. 121 down goes Carry One. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Fizzlebeef has got his orb lit.
What do you think about this from ShoFukomachi, Lyra? We were dead even. Other than a ribbon equipment advantage that Lord Fizzlebeef got out of the waterfall, ShoFukomachi entered go mode. Dead even. Route divergence. ShoFukomachi taking on the eye with 4 light warriors. Lord Fizzlebeef moving forward and lighting his orb. What do you think about Sho's decision here?
I think taking the eye now, doing this compared to later on, say in Temple of Fiends, Sho might be thinking just go up to like 20, 24, somewhere around there, stopping it, and then just flooring it. I like this because it was something that I would do, and I'm completely blown away by just this sudden change and just saying I'm going to do this now.
It might be Lord Fizzlebeef's early mentoring in the first few weeks of my entry into this Final Fantasy Randomizer community, but I've landed firmly in the not a stationary grind person. I like the play that Fizzlebeef's probably going to make. He's either going to dive down into sea, or he's going to do Sky Cave, and he's going to get levels as he's clearing chests, as he's looking for those in-game weapons, in-game armors, and it'll be a little bit more... I don't know. I don't want to say it's going to be a better move, but it feels better.
Fizzle actually picking up life too. I definitely agree with this, especially before going into something that's potentially dangerous. Like,
and so I love these palette swaps on the Sea Shrine, depending on where the City of Onrak is shuffled to. The Sea Shrine's always a different color, and it's always a surprise to me. So I don't think I've seen Onrak in every single location, but I'm digging the orange in Gaia, the orange Sea Shrine. It's basically like they're in a Sea Shrine of orange drink, which I miss having.
Would you call it a seashicle?
orange cream, not a bad idea. I was going to think it was orange Kool-Aid, but there's also some orange flavored Mountain Dew that's actually pretty solid as...
I go to orange drink. I don't know. It was just called that in my high school cafeteria. It was just basically orange Kool-Aid, but cheese shickles just sounds like I'm gonna mess that up and say something I shouldn't say on stream.
I had to really think about it before I said it and kind of lead into it, so I did screw it up.
I can respect that.
Welcome to Final Fantasy Randomizer, where we have a good time, we have fun. It's been a great tournament so far. We're about halfway through it as we lead into the bracket stage. The winner of this match moving on. They will move on to the Sweet 16. The loser will fall to 3-2 and have to get through that Shark Tank of a play-in race. I was in it last year. You don't want to get to that. You want to win this match.
And Sho is going to go back and he's going to pick up some magic for his knight. Not a bad move, especially if he's going to be going into the Volcano next. It's a nice routing decision to just pop in while you're in town and pick up spells, but or not. Just walk out. He might be getting his seeds crossed, because I don't think he picked up anything. And Fizzle's coming down. He's about a floor away from Kraken, and he's going to check these free chests, find 91 gold pieces and about 6,300. So still no item as he enters the Sharknado floor.
I don't think I'll see a mermaid's play here potentially, since we already have go mode for Fizzle, and weapons would probably just favor running into Mirage Tower instead of
No
going to
chance. No chance in the ladies from Fizzlebeef.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless there's something nasty in Topher and you wipe more than 3 times, do you come out and dive chest looking for something you might be missing?
Flame Armor for Fizzle then.
Yeah, he's not even checking the spike tile chest. He's just going right down to Kraken. Don't sleep on these ghosts. They will punch the crap out of you.
I love this chat tonight. We just go from random talking about orange drink, and it's still felt into a full Mountain Dew convention here. As Joe is gonna run into
Mountain
Earth.
Dew.
That's what happens when Fury Box Gaming shows up. He just makes everybody talk about Mountain Dew, which is what he does. You get used to it after a while. But yeah,
ShoFukomachi is in the Earth Cave, and he's checking Earth 1. He's utilizing the run. This is what we talked about, Fate L. He's attempting to utilize a run to check these chests. He knows Lord Fizzlebeef is not going to check these chests. He is short on equipment. If there's a defense sword, perhaps the Mazmoon, something along those lines in these chests, Lord Fizzlebeef is not going to see it. That is why ShoFukomachi is making this move.
Our lovely tracker Danny tonight pointing out that Sun Sword, yeah, Fizzle doesn't need school.
Yep, but while Show's gambling, Fizzle's tackling his second fiend, and with the Braxtra, misses. Ineffective.
89 damage. Lord Fizzlebeef is going to raise his evasion. ShoFukomachi continues to make a move on his opponent. It's not working so far. Brack is ineffective. Kraken fires Sleep Tune to the Knight, and that misses. Fire 2 from Initiative and Kraken 2, not doing too much as a strike from Lord Fizzlebeef's Knight. 3 hit, 3 damage. Brack from Lord Fizzlebeef is ineffective. More evasion. This is interesting. 3 hits and 3 damage only. Oof. Brack from Lord Fizzlebeef is ineffective. We're going to go to another round. This is dragging on a little bit long.
Max?
This is Brack again from Lord Fizzlebeef is ineffective. Back-to-back Bracks ineffective.
Ooh.
Lord Fizzlebeef starts to adjust a little bit. He's going to heal and move over to the Power Gauntlet. 3 hits, 3 damage isn't doing it. Another Fire 2 from Kraken. As ShoFukomachi moves on deeper into the Earth Cave, he's moving on to Zap. Another Fire 2 from Kraken, down to 1 knee for the White Wizard. More evasion. So Kraken can't hit Lord Fizzlebeef, trying to light his second orb. Brack again from Lord Fizzlebeef is ineffective. Another Brack from Lord Fizzlebeef, broken into pieces. It hits! Level 19 for the 4 Light Warriors, and Lord Fizzlebeef lights his second orb.
When something just doesn't work, throw yourself up against it until it does. Fizzle gets the persistence paying off on this one, and Show is definitely making the interesting play here going into Earth Cave. We've seen this actually pay off huge in this tournament so far. What do you guys?
That was pretty bad RNG on Fizzlebeef's side for 8 Bracks to go out and to hit on the last one. That's typically what, Will, like a 1 in 5 chance to hit?
1 in 8, 1 in 9. Lord Fizzlebeef is going back to the new Gaia. He's going to level 7 Black Magic to get Nuke. He's had 4 Light Warriors standing the entire game. I don't know how many shots of that he's going to get, but he's also adding 1 gold bracelet that he can buy. He's looking to sell something. Look at his inventory. Can I sell anything? No. He's going to sell us. That's not going to be enough. He's gonna get 1 gold bracelet. See, look at his weapons now. No. I want a gold bracelet. No.
Add another pro ring there, saving some cash on that.
Interesting move from Lord Fizzlebeef. I didn't quite see that coming. He's definitely gonna support the 4 Light Warrior strategy, and that's what he's gonna go with, as he's gonna head towards the Mirage Tower.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not too much of a time sink to pop in here and do that check while you're on your way to Mirage.
Chat pointing at we only needed 1 ring to rule them all. That he only wanted 1 buy out of that, so.
And Show is continuing to check chest and earth. I wonder if he watches this back and he realizes he could have just grabbed that Sun Sword out of one of the free chests in Marsh and been pretty comfortable.
That's the thing, though. Sho does have that sun sword equipped, so that's... When do you stop checking?
Yep, and I would imagine soon.
He doesn't feel comfortable.
Does he?
I mean, he does that out of the way check to get the gold bracelet. He's gonna go with the 4 warriors. He needs something. I've got to think that one item will break it for him. Whether it's the white shirt, probably not. I think he's looking for a Vorpal, a Mazmoon, or a defense sword, and then to step on it. I think one of those.
Sho just got the information about the cockatrices, the sleep spells and the lightning threes, and he reset out. He never dove waterfall, so yikes. He's gonna have a bad time in this Earth Cave if this encounter table works against him.
Nothing on the first
it's gonna
floor
set
of
Sho
Mirage for
back.
Phil.
Yeah,
Hour 6 in.
Sho is just not having a good time in Earth Cave here. Answer a question in chat. Sho didn't wipe, he reset out, but yeah, for the most part, yeah. He chose to wipe.
So 1 hour 6 in, I'm the White Witch Lyra, also known as the Baroness. Tonight with me is the wonderful voice of the angels, the smooth talker Wilcleosis himself, and the podcaster, broadcaster, wheelin' dealin' guardian of our wonderful community, Rafe Hates Caleb. I hope you are all having a wonderful night tonight, as we're going to go ahead and check the greater than less than room.
We're gonna take a look at this greater than less than room. Is there something in here for Lord Fizzlebeef? Then we're gonna throw it over to Caleb. He's gonna tell you a little bit about his podcast in just a second. He's gearing up right now. Great fight here. We call him the Cerebri. Excellent high experience fight. Usually not too high HP, but apparently they are today because they've got over 400 of them. So it's gonna be a 3-rounder maybe. No, it's just going to be a 2-rounder if he fired a fade, maybe. No, maybe a 1-rounder, I don't know. But he'll get about good, 2,000 experience out that fight. But is there something in here? Did he get that middle chest on the left? Red Wizard's gone.
There's something in here, alright. It's those Death Touch Catmen.
Knight's gone. White Wizard hanging in. Go for Black Wizard's gone. White Wizard's gone. Lord Fizzlebeef perishes in the Mirage Tower.
Yikes.
And he didn't get the information. He's gonna have to go back. If he wants those chests. I gotta think that he wants them.
I think he's gonna skip them. I think he's gonna balance out the cost, the risk reward, and just figure out what's inside.
All right, we'll see if Lord Fizzlebeef heads back towards the greater than less than room as ShoFukomachi digs deeper. Lord Fizzlebeef says, "Forget it. I thought he would do this." He's headed towards the Q block and the Blue Dragon. Caleb, tell us about your podcast, your guests, and everything about it. RafeHatesCaleb.com. Give it to us.
Yeah, so Rafe Hates Caleb has been a podcast that I've been doing with my good friend Rafe. We've been at it for almost 5 years now, which is remarkable to think about and from my perspective, but we've been putting out a weekly podcast where we talk about anything and everything from what's going on in our lives. So weekly movie we watch, we talk about the music that we're into at the time. And as we've been doing the show, it's sort of evolved as ShoFukomachi is going to fight a lesser evolved undead fiend.
Who?
As the vampire.
Hey, what's that?
I swear there's an enemy in this game in the Earth Cave that no one else ever sees, only I see it. It's weird. But we've been doing this podcast, and so for the past 4 or 5 weeks now, I've had my race competitors join me on the show, kind of share their story with the FFR community and their history with the game. And it's been a ton of fun. Everybody coming on the show has been a great guest and lots of fun stories to tell. And next week, we're going to have an even better special as Moist Mogwai and Falconic FF are going to be joining Rafe and I on the podcast to kind of talk about their experience. And we're going to get hyped about co-op for sure.
Fizzle finding the Thor hammer, Sho, however, finding the mythical dragon sword. And I think anybody that's been watching anything I've done this tournament long,
Look out.
know what the dragon sword's.
Look out, left side of your screen. It's the birds. They're firing Sleep. They already hit Toxic. Toxic was the skill, Sleep is the spell. He cannot see this Lightning 3. ShoFukomachi cannot afford to perish again. He gets a fade off, it's going to take out the birds. He's on the second to last floor of the Earth Cave. He checked the top, chest, dense area. He found nothing.
I love that while our runners, this isn't necessarily route convergence, it's headache convergence. LordFizzlebeef is dealing with the Death Touch Catman, while ShoFukomachi is dealing with the Lightning 3 birds. The randomizer giveth, and the randomizer taketh away. And right now it's giving them the business with these awful enemies.
I think that's a very polite, kind word for it. I definitely agree.
It's a family-friendly show, Lyra. We can only call it polite and friendly ways.
I know, I love it, though. So something Fizzle is actually doing here, taking advantage of all these encounters while it runs away from that one, but all the extra XP here, this is the roaming grind that we were looking.
Yeah, that's... Lyra on top of it, I was just going to say that it's exactly what LordFizzlebeef is doing. This isn't a I'm checking chests. This is a I'm fighting for manticores as a Fire 3 takes out most of them. He's looking for experience and levels. He's running the 4 Light Warriors. He wants to solidify that endgame. HP, spell charges, you name it. This isn't a I'm looking for the Mazmoon, sure. I mean, he is. But this is for fights. He wants eyes, manticores. As he checks the star room.
Only checks right side of Star Room, though. So, not going to be spending as much time in here as he could.
I'm thinking he's going to warp back down and then check the left side and then come back up here. I think that's quality. There's the Bane Sword for...
Okay. Yeah, that went out 12 minutes. Yeah, Bane Sword, yeah, great to have. It would have been more effective earlier. Now he digs up a stick and the legendary Excalibur.
Now this seed, it's actually good because we have a knight to actually do it, but we've seen some crazy runners this tournament not even bring a fighter, so we're happy to at least see the Excalibur seed. And he finds the Opal Bracelet as well. Infinite value in this particular...
Absolutely.
What, Caleb, are you ready? Are you ready now? If you're Fizzlebeef here?
Absolutely. I mean, you just dug out the one sword that, no matter what the flags are, can kill chaos in one round. We're ready.
Lyra, are you ready?
Honestly, Fizzle probably thinks being trolled as early and often as he was in the beginning of the seed, I think he's done. I think...
Okay,
No time it is, though, Will.
Ready. I'm just not ready. What
Are
time
you ready?
is it, Caleb?
Are you ready for the Bridge of Destiny, man?
The Bridge of Destiny for LordFizzlebeef. He enters it, immediately fully heals. They're already out there. Bless RNGs are already there. Animaniac and Crab Cakes, I see you. Stardia, you are there. Levi, you're involved. Here comes a whole bunch more. Warmek. He is the death machine. Do we see Warmek this seed? We may see him very soon. As ShoFukomachi has entered the volcano, he's looking to light his second orb. Right now, LordFizzlebeef is potentially a Warmek fight in the Bridge of Destiny away from trying to light his third.
I do agree with you. I personally wouldn't be ready for this particular jump, but I'm not in this tournament. Fizzle is, and Fizzle wants this playoff spot absolutely 100%.
He does. He does not want to happen.
The long hallway.
Ooh, he did. This is what happened last year. We went through it briefly. LordFizzlebeef was 3-1 last year. He got a paired down match and he got beat. He does not want it to happen again this year. He has had a year to think about his loss to the Dragon Slayer Wookleosis. He will not let it happen again as best that he can. Does Warmek stand in his way? Warmek stood in his way. His one loss to the Enforcer Falconic. Falconic attributes that win to Warmek himself. LordFizzlebeef perished to Warmek. Does it happen again? We don't know. We're getting a lot of encounters in the Bridge of Destiny. It's a 24 encounter rate. There's more red hydras. The chat is absolutely going insane, Caleb. Look at all the Bless RNGs. They want the death machine.
I don't know if they're going to get it. Maybe Sho will show it to us. but I don't know if they're gonna. We're almost across. And now I'm trying to commentary curses happening.
Now remember, I pointed this out earlier. Sho found the dragon sword. Fizzle did not. This may be the actual difference. This may be the calling.
LordFizzlebeef runs into metal slimes. They are weak to fire. He sees that, goes immediately to the mage staff. Look at those little hits from the lightning 2, 22 damage. Watch him fire up the mage staff. 89, 102, 96, and the slimes are essentially gone. Fire 3 wipes him out. Huge, quick encounter experience for LordFizzlebeef as he's closing in on Tiamat. ShoFukomachi taking a lot of chests that take a lot of time to check.
He did find the dragon armor, though. So that'll be huge for his knight. I don't remember what Fizzlebeef's fighter is wearing, or his knight is wearing.
Should be the alarm.
The opal armor? Okay. So that's not, it's about the same, it's just not as the additional resistances of fire and ice.
Black shirt,
asleep.
Fizzlebeef. And a big strike from the legendary Excalibur takes out the other natural. LordFizzlebeef is through. ShoFukomachi's turning on. He's about to pick up his power gauntlet and his opal armor in the armory. LordFizzlebeef's going to look to light his 4th orb as Tiamat 2 obliterates the black wizard. LordFizzlebeef counters with Brack. That's ineffective. He's using evasion and invis 2 from his knight. We're going to move on to round 2. More evasion and another Brack from Fizzlebeef. Broken into pieces. Tiamat's gone.
Just
attaboy.
For Fizzle. This is almost over. But then again, one Temple of Fiends play is all it takes for any of these runners to get completely evened out. We've seen it time after time in this tournament.
Tiamat's going to need a greater restoration after that.
As D&D tournament.
ShoFukomachi digs out the power bonk.
Yeah, he's going to get his power gauntlet and his opal armor. Sho is spending a lot of time in here. They're out-of-the-way chests. They are chests that LordFizzlebeef, his opponent, did not check. But he's spending a lot of time. He's really given the lead away to LordFizzlebeef as he has entered the Earth Cave, and he's on his way to his 4th orb. 1 hour, 17 minutes and change.
Yeah, I mean, Sho entered go mode, what, like 25 minutes ago almost, and he's still checking chests. Like, he must really be uncertain about the gear that his party has, where he really wants that in-game sword and isn't going to find it until he goes to Scott.
Sho actually going to take the play and go downstairs. I think we might be seeing Carrie coming up. Remember, folks, Carrie had a little bit high on the absorb, but she rolled extremely low HP, maybe 300, 400-ish max. Sho's going to completely destroy her.
Yeah, do you think he checks any of these chests that Fizzle skipped on the Agama floor?
I think he checks them all the way he's been playing. He clearly does not feel comfortable, and I can understand why he wouldn't. But at 1 hour 18 with 1 orb lit, you have got to feel a sense of urgency. You're playing another 3-in-1 opponent. You know what it took to get to 3-in-1. You're playing a player that also had to go through the same thing. And I've got to feel a sense of urgency.
I can get on board with that. Fizzle gonna go ahead and run into the transfer werewolves, but the transfer just... The wolves don't care, and they started running away from him, too.
And Sho finds a loose ribbon, so that's good value to find for sure.
Moves it over to the red mage.
And Fizzle's gonna take out the undead hero of the Earth Cave, the roommate of Lich, the vampire.
Yeah, that was a loose ribbon in the volcano. LordFizzlebeef skipped it. ShoFukomachi has it. So the equipment has evened up. However, when the route divergence started in the ice cave, they were on the same floor. They both entered go mode moments before. LordFizzlebeef continued on. ShoFukomachi took a pit stop on the eye.
Yeah, that is proving to be the majority of the time difference here, where Fizzle was able to get his levels while he walked through Sky. And Sho digs up the white shirt, though, and so another gear advantage to Sho when he dives Topher. That will definitely be handier to have.
I think Sho's done.
Yeah, and man, he's still checking chests. So I want to go back to the beginning of this race, where at 9 o'clock tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, our runners began with a absolute jet seed. Within 15 minutes, they were nearly at their key item mark, and ShoFukomachi's computer crashed. And Fizzlebeef, being the sportsman that he is, agreed to re-roll the seed and do a quick rematch. And this seed is proving to be far less friendly than that first seed, but they're getting through it. Hour 20 minutes. Fizzlebeef's in go mode. He's getting ready to go into Topher. ShoFukomachi's stepping on the gas, and he's going to be fighting Carrie in just about a minute and a half here.
I 100% agree with you, Caleb. The seed before was completely amazing, and it was just impossible to see how fast you were going. This seed feels about the average that these Swiss flags have actually been putting out in terms of difficulty for our runners. This feels like the norm right here.
Absolutely. And Sho is still uncertain about his levels, and looks like he's taking a little mini eye grind. I didn't see this coming. I thought for sure with that ribbon and the white shirt pickup, he would have the defensive gear that he would feel comfortable with diving Topher.
Yeah, I'm looking at this now, and after I saw that, and him checking the red dragon chest, again, this is for fights. It isn't necessarily that he's checking this chest. I think that Sho has resigned himself to, I need a tough Temple of Fiends revisited, and I'm going to play for a wipe there, and if my opponent wipes, it's about the time they're going to be around the earth floor, and I'm going to take it. I think that's what Sho is thinking. 1 hour, 22 minutes, 30 seconds. LordFizzlebeef enters the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Take some XP here. I can definitely get on board with this. Those worms only had about 400 HP, so they're pretty...
As ShoFukomachi is winding his way down to take on Carry 1, LordFizzlebeef is approaching the room with a Phantom, and we're gonna... I believe the Phantom should be runnable. I think the Ghosts and Sea Shrine were runnable, so he should be able to get in and out of this encounter for sure. As ShoFukomachi...
Is it the Ghost and the Phantom or AB?
I believe so. I believe I picked that up watching some streams back in the day.
I did not know that.
Cue the more you know little graphic.
Yeah.
Sho completely just blasting Carrie back to the Stone Age. Picks up his second.
ShoFukomachi lights his second orb, LordFizzlebeef closing in on the Phantom, and using the loot to enter 2,000 years in the past. Once again, we'd like to thank Danny3883. We're going to get some links in the chat. Go ahead and give her a follow and say thank you. Everything she does, she's going to track the Midnight Special 4 coming up in just a few hours right here live on Speed Gaming. It's going to be on Speed Gaming Prime. She is 1/3, joined by tonight, right here, another 1/3 of the Black Widow Brigade. Lyra SRL here in the chat. Along with Mama Duck herself, they form the triumvirate that we call the Terrorness that is the Black Widow Brigade. And we certainly thank her very, very much. Thank you, Danny.
Always a pleasure, and it's always a pleasure having Danny with me here too. Every single adventure, she is a workhorse when it comes to this particular volunteering. And that is something we appreciate. Each and every one of you coming in here tonight. Even if you're not volunteering behind the scenes, even if you're not here on the desk, you're here with us, and we appreciate you for that, and we're very happy to have you.
LordFizzlebeef has entered the Earth floor. It's ambushed by green Medusas. Caleb, you talk, I can't see this.
It's okay, buddy. Just just kind of look away. I'll let you know when it's over. They don't have the death touch this time. They just got the poison touch, and they don't look like they're ambushing with Blaze. So it's gonna be okay, buddy.
PTSD mode.
Yeah, those PTSD Medusas. Will, while you're not looking at the screen, you wanna tell the folks about the Midnight Special? Who's running in that?
The Midnight Special 4. This started back in October with a match. Oh, there's the death touch. ShoFukomachi has lost his red wizard, but he gets a fade off. He's going to get through it.
That's a whole lot of PTSD for that on that screen for you, Will.
Yeah, it's okay. Like I'm shaking. The Midnight Special started in a match between Demon Frog, I see you here right now, and Will Bloodworth. It was during the league back in October 2018. I saw that and I'm like, wow. I got together with Cat Doctor. I'm like, I would love to do this. Cat Doctor is overseas, great guy, one of the leaders of our development team. And it was a rousing success. We couldn't quite get it going again. That was the Midnight Special 1. We did it again with LordFizzlebeef. He took on Shadow Walker in the Midnight Special 2. We did a third one quite recently. We're doing it again tonight, live on Speed Gaming. It's going to be on Speed Gaming Prime. The 3-in-1 Buzzsaw Minochi 85 is going to take on the 3-in-1 leader of Final Fantasy Randomizer, Team Vorpal's king himself, Zardia. In the same situation that we have going on right now. The winner moves on to the brackets in the Sweet 16. The loser is going to have to move on to that Shark Tank of a play-in race that's coming up at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, midnight Pacific. The Midnight Special 4 brought to you by the Emerald City Saint Will Bloodworth and myself, the Dragon Slayer, Will Cleosis. Together we are known as the Willuminati.
I'm gonna go ahead and just poke in here. Sho actually finished checking the greater than less than room. Only found a pro ring for those last chests. That was another time save.
Yep. And ShoFukomachi is moving on up the Sky Tower into the floating fortress as Fizzlebeef just blows right past Lich 2. Lich 2 had a little bit of health, more than normal, went about 3 rounds, and nothing else. No nukes, no nuclears, no swirls, no tornadoes, just kind of punchy. Nothing too scary. So that feels good in that fight, but those things could move to other fights, and that would feel bad.
Did anyone see Lich 2? No, that was a speed bump. The purple punching bag strikes again.
He's a toaster strudel friend.
Fizzle pulling carry 2, though. 163 fade. Fast goes off on the night. Swing 9 hits, 641. Wow. Down goes carry.
Yep, carry 2. It might have been both carries were very low health in this seed, so don't know. They might need to hit the gym again.
Question in chat: what's the difference between the play-in and the last chance qualifier? The last chance qualifier will happen first. But out of everybody that's 2 and 3, only one person moves up to that play-in race. The play-in race, it's roughly, we've calculated about 6 people or so move on from that.
It'll all be determined once the all the 4-in-1s are decided. However many slots are left in the top 16, those will be filled from the play-in race.
2 Sidewinders and a Heat Seeker from LordFizzlebeef takes out Kraken 2.
That Kraken just completely imploded into itself. Wow, the worms had fast, oddly enough. Yeah, but here we go, straight to Tiamat 2. Fizzle's not playing around here anymore. It looks like going on mostly the offensive. Fast goes off. Tiamat Fire 2, nothing special there. And Viz 2, buffing up.
Yeah, Fizzle really hasn't really hit much of anything but a speed bump in this Topher dive. Lich 2, speed bump. Carry 2, speed bump. Kraken 2 was basically just a big piece of paper that the football team runs through on its way onto the field. And Tiamat 2...
6 hits, about 3. 3 Invis 2 casters. That just bumps you up to max evasion in just a matter of 2 turns. Fizzle just playing it like an ace. Temper goes off. Lightning 2 comes back. Pretty weak Tiamat so far.
Yeah, this isn't a... I mean... This is the kind of Topher that encourages players to dive in with a Sun Sword. Like, sometimes you don't need the Masa to get through this dungeon.
204. Nuke went off for about 300 a little bit ago. You are definitely right about that Sun Sword. Putting in a little bit of work. Not quite the temper stacks available to make it completely shine, though. Wanting to save some of that for Chaos. Fire 3 pokes with 48 damage. Down goes TMS.
But wait, there's more. Here comes... Oh, and there they go. They got away from the Twilight fan club.
Lord Fizzlebeef has established his lead, and he closes in on the shrine of the ultimate fiend Chaos. He is there. ShoFukomachi is out of this right now. We are at the 90-minute mark. Lord Fizzlebeef is ready to stake his claim. He is not going to lose the 3-1 match like he did last year. That is what he's saying to himself right now. He is looking to move on to 4-1. He goes to his armor screen and moves the ribbon over to the knight. He's got a power gauntlet. He rearranges his light warrior party. We have seen nothing so far. We know nothing about this ultimate final boss. In Viz 2 with initiative from Lord Fizzlebeef, he's going to try to get that fast off. And he gets it off on the knight. Chaos attacks the knight for a whole 75 damage. That's a really good sign for Lord Fizzlebeef and more evasion. We'll see if he goes to start to try to attack based upon Chaos's weak melee. Temper charges are going to start to come off, as well as more evasion. 1 hour 31 minutes and change. There's a power gauntlet. Another temper. That knight is buff as can be. A whole ice 2 from Chaos. I gotta think that Lord Fizzlebeef is going to start to attack. Round 3. He's going to heal up, keep his HP high, continue the tempers, and continue the power gauntlet. Lord Fizzlebeef not going to attack quite late yet. Chaos misses. It's a free round. Lord Fizzlebeef making it look easy. But does Chaos have anything hidden? Here comes the assault from Lord Fizzlebeef. Sidewinder, 113. Another Sidewinder from Lord Fizzlebeef, 98. An attack from the Excalibur, 6 hit, 638. A Lightning 3 for chip damage of 45. Chaos comes back with a Lightning 2. Lord Fizzlebeef has Chaos on the ropes and down to 1 knee. He's out of zapped. He's out of something. He's moving down to Ice 2. I believe he's out of Fades. Chip damage from Ice 2 for 23 damage. The Excalibur, 8 hits, 874. Lord Fizzlebeef moves on to 4-1 with an official SRL time, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 19 seconds, chat. Get out your GGs and congratulate Lord Fizzlebeef. We're going to get him in here for an interview.
I'm speechless. What a completely just weak Chaos. Didn't get to anything particularly dangerous, but Fizzle made all the right plays, all the right setup, completely just floored into it with just a couple swings of the Excalibur. I hate on that sword quite a bit, but I will tell you all that no matter what weapon it is, as long as you kill Chaos with it, that's the only weapon that matters.
He made it look easy, Caleb. I mean, he made it look easy.
Yeah, that was basically a tutorial of how to get through a trash seed, because this seed was not as friendly as the first seed. So it only makes me wonder how quickly he could have gotten through that first seed. But then again, that first seed could have had a nasty Topher. This was a very friendly Topher for the setup that Fizzlebeef rolled in with. Yeah, this is why these guys are. Well, that's why Fizzlebeef's 4-1 makes it look easy. This guy's a pro at this.
Right now, we'd like to welcome to the broadcast booth the newly qualified Sweet 16 entrant at 4-1, Lord Fizzlebeef. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
How close was that? Because I felt like I was behind the entire time.
I thought I made that point. I asked Will when you were in the, I think it was an ice cave. I was like, if you're Fizzle here, do you feel behind? And you weren't playing like you were behind. You were running the afterburners on that seed, man. GG.
Hard numbers, Lord Fizzlebeef. You entered go mode within a minute of each other inside the ice cave, both picking up the loot as your last item. And you were on the same floor, the floor with the 6 chests and the frost wolves.
Mm-hmm.
You were the first one to move on in that ice cave, and you never looked back.
Oh, let me guess. Sho ran into the maximum harassment cockatrices.
He did eventually, actually, in the Earth Cave.
Mhm.
But at that point, you had established a very firm, solid, strong lead. Sho decided to stop off at the Eye, and that was the route divergence that happened at that point, right around the, I believe it was 57, 58 1-hour mark.
Mhm.
Congratulations, Lord Fizzlebeef. Moving on to the Sweet 16. Not
Thank you.
Not quite what happened last year, a much better outcome than the paired up match you had last year. How are you feeling?
Words cannot describe just how happy I am not to have to sweat and cry my way through that play-in race again. I am so happy to be able to watch it instead of just be terrified through the entire thing.
And we talked about it throughout the broadcast. We both had to do it last year. Fizzlebeef made it. I certainly didn't. I caused you to be in there. That's not going to happen this year, Lord Fizzlebeef. Your first match, a knockdown drag-out with a good friend of yours, good friend of mine as well, against Falconic. That's your only loss.
Mhm.
You're hot as can be. That's 4 in a row. How are you feeling momentum-wise playing Final Fantasy Randomizer?
One of the traps that I have fallen into repeatedly, and I've warned others from falling into it as well, is the idea of the arrogance trap. Try not to think of momentum. Take each and every race as it comes, as a single event in a vacuum. Analyze, prepare, practice. Treat it as if it's the only race that's going on.
We talked about it in the pregame. Caleb, take over, my friend.
Yeah, so Fizzle, I wanted to the first. So this was the second seed that you and Sho faced off against each other. What were your thoughts on that initial seed that you guys had before the reroll?
I thought we were setting sail for maybe sub-hour at the rate we were going.
That's fair. And then something happened on Sho's side. He lost the save files, computer crashed, and you agreed to the reroll. What was going through your head when you saw the dot forfeit in the SRL chat from?
A lot of confusion. We're only like 10, 15 minutes in, and Sho suddenly forfeits in what is a super important race for both of us. Something has gone wacky, and then Zar and Trenton filled me in, and Wilkleosis as well, filled me in on what was going on. And I mean, when your hardware just drops out from under you, like I've been there. I've had computer issues in the past where in the middle of a race, like the blue screen of error rears its ugly head, and it's like, nah. But soon enough in the race, like I will gladly just re-roll and bite the bullet on getting seeds confused, which I had a little bit of. I still don't remember where pro rings are.
That's fair. Neither do I. But yeah, we were all applauding the class. Oh no, Sho's got Warmack. And he's unrunnable.
Take it, Caleb.
So he's looking through his spell slot, trying to figure out what he's gonna do. He's gonna heal up. He didn't heal before he came onto this floor, so he's gonna fire some fades, 132, sprinkle a big hit there, and Warmack's got stopped. Cure 4 comes out perfectly timed, brings the fighter back up. The fast goes off, and here comes. He's still trying to figure out what to do with the Red Wizard. Fire 3, and no, going back. What's he doing? Figure it out, Sho. Heal 2. And it didn't look like Warmack had that much defense, so I would imagine Sho's just going to cleave Warmack in twain. Cleft in twain. Warmack's got zap, and exiled to the 4th dimension goes the White Wizard as he's still trying to figure out. There it goes. And he's going to do Temper again. And stun comes out. Big hit. 163 with 2 hits. Temper again. It seems like the Temper's doing the opposite, where his first hit was almost 500 damage, and the more Temper stacks he's piling on, the weaker it gets. So let's figure it out, Sho. What's going on with these Tempers? Fog 2 raises the armor. 2 hits, 180 damage. Another Temper. Sho the knight just can't get it done. He's out of Cure 4s. What are you going to do? You're going to heal 2 and more Tempers? These backwards Tempers? He's out of the reverse Temper charges and Zeus Gauntlet. All right.
Come on, Sho. Finish him.
Chip damage. Warmech's like, I'll show you how to do some chip damage. Eat a fire 2. 2 hits, 278. The robot chicken goes down. Big XP all And this-
Yeah, there you go, ShoFukomachi. We're gonna stay with the Bridge of Destiny for just a moment. There's a whole bunch of blessed RNGs. The fans want the death machine again. And then we got another question for Lord FizzleBeef coming up.
He's got a
Yes,
whole lot of
yes.
Bridge of Destiny left too.
He does. He lost the White Wizard, so he's just gonna heal up.
Not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for a Warmech pull myself, and seeing Zap, I'm glad that didn't happen.
And he's through and he's pulling Tiamat right now.
He'll take care of Tiamat fairly quickly. Kind of what we were getting to, Lord FizzleBeef, was when Caleb entered the community, you reached out to him. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your interaction and what it is that you and Caleb kind of went through when your broadcaster for this important match came into the community?
I have a soft spot for dark horse unknowns that come in with a lot of knowledge that no one sees coming. So when I saw that first match between Caleb and you, Will, and I saw how close it was, that immediately clicked in my mind as that's a dude I want to get to know. That's a dude I want to help grow, because there was a lot. There was something special there, but it was rough around the edges. And if I can help smooth that out, it would make me absolutely tickled pink to have another absolute monster in this community. Because I like nothing if not a good challenge.
Yeah, you do. And kind of what we touched upon, we actually saw it in the pregame. Caleb talked about it. We talked about it in the mid-game as well. We talked about your class. And it was great to get that out and tell that story of the class of you and what it was that happened as ShoFukomachi takes out Tiamat. He lights his third orb. And with Sho having the computer problems, you're just really showing not only yourself, but really a lot of Final Fantasy Randomizer and the incredibleness of the group that we have, the leadership, which you are. With restreaming, you're so great on the microphone. You're so incredible with the controller. And in the class that you have, I certainly thank you as well. And that is what we do here at Final Fantasy Randomizer. I know there was no question in your mind whatsoever. That was what you were going to do, and we are going to re-roll, and we're going to get a show on here. Meanwhile, the Baroness, Lyra SRL, has a question for you, FizzleBeef.
Hey, Fizzle, congratulations. We
Thank you,
know
Lyra.
that you were. Well, actually, I have a couple questions, but the first one, I've noticed this week that you've actually been a little bit lighter on the practice. Instead, before the race, you were actually not even practicing. You were playing one of your favorite series of all time, Super Robot Wars. How did that make you feel? Were you feeling more relaxed and in the zone for this race?
Nothing gets me pumped and ready to take on the world like giant anime robots. So if I can just engross myself in that for a while, I will rip any seed in half. Further, painful experience over my time in this community has taught me that if I try to attempt a practice seed the same day I have a live race, I will get the two seeds confused and I will just bomb the live race. So I have a hard and fast no practice the day of a match rule to just kind of prevent that. And the other reason that practice was late this week is because it's almost finals time. And I did what I could. I got my one practice, but kind of wish I had more.
So something else I noticed during the seed. Now, you went up to Mirage, didn't see anything on first floor really. Went to second floor, ran into the Death Touch Catmen, and you noped out of the rest of greater than less than. Now, Sho actually went up and checked that entire room, completely came up empty-handed with nothing more than a pro ring. You went up to Sky, started checking chests through the first, second, and third floors. You missed that Sho found the Vorpal, which was on the bottom left-hand side, but you found the Excalibur right there next to it. How good were you feeling on your gear?
Poorly, and let me explain why. With this party, offense was hamstrung at best. Like, Nuke's level 7, so Red Mage is not getting that. Fade's level 5, which is awkward, and there's basically nothing productive for the mages to do before level 5. So I was planning on having to take a lot of rounds with fiends in Topher, and I really, really, really wanted a second ribbon. All that digging that you saw me do, I wasn't after Xcal. I wasn't, well, Bonk was nice, but I wasn't necessarily after it. I wanted a second ribbon, and I never found the stupid thing.
Well, I got bad news for you, Fizzle. There was a ribbon on the Agama floor in the very first room in the top left chest.
I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have skipped that room, but I was like, it's out of the way. But as I kept going, I was just like, no, idiot, you need a ribbon. Stop and open some boxes, and that kind of set everything up after that.
Well, you know what else is out of the way? The Swiss flags for you, Fizzle. You're moving on to the brackets. You're going into the top 16. Is there? I know you already said that you don't. You're the anti-hubris game. You don't try to get in your head about what you think. You should be, what you deserve to be playing, or whatever. Is there anyone in particular that you're looking for in that bracket? Maybe some revenge on Falconic for giving you that loss in week 1. Anything like that?
Now, there's a certain person that is in watching this match today that I'm currently 0-2 against, and I am definitely looking to get some vengeance on that. Third tries the charm. Mr. Wilkliosis, I'm going to get you.
Oh, spicy.
Oh,
So how?
I knew this was coming.
So having raced against Will myself, how do you prepare for that, Fizzle?
Like any other opponent, I have tried to do the metagame. I have tried to do the thinking and the outthinking and the out thinking. And at the end of the day, I just circle back to the same premise. My strategies, some consider weird, some consider off the wall. If I play my game, and if my game succeeds, then I've got it. And if not, then I have to rely on my micro game, my menuing, my strategies and fiend fights to try and carry me the distance that I lost when, say, for example, things are in Earth Cave and I get really mad.
It would be an honor, Lord Fizzlebeef, to take you down again. Hopefully, of course. I have always considered Lord Fizzlebeef as elite. Our career, I guess you could say, in Final Fantasy Randomizer has been very intertwined. Really, from my more of the broadcasting is mostly what I do versus you with the controller, and you've gotten into broadcasting, and I've sort of converted over the controller a little bit. And we're certainly good friends, and it is all very, very friendly. That day will happen sometime soon, fans. It definitely will. It could happen potentially in something coming up. Gosh, Fizzlebeef. Cooperative mode is coming. You got your team, I got my team.
Mm-hmm.
I got my team.
Caleb has his team. Lyra, I hear you have a team for co-op. Is that true?
I do, but nobody's going to know what my partner is. Yeah.
I'm going to call you Team Crit Rate. I don't know what your name is, but I know who it is. But that's what we're certainly going to call it. Caleb, why don't you tell us about your cooperative team for the upcoming organization efforts from the Game Changers, Falconic FF, and Winkleosis coming up starting June 16th?
Sure. My partner is the wonderful Hyro Fellows, who's called a few of my races. He's been another one of the veterans in the community that sort of reached out, sort of taking me under this little duckling wing and kind of giving me some pro tips. We ran a couple seeds together, kind of talking about strategy, and we're going to be Team Rofe Hates Caleb, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to be participating in the co-op exhibition match next Friday, May 17th. I think we're looking around 8 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be Hyro and I against Moist Mogwai and Meridian BC, the Team Flavortown.
Team Flavortown. On the call for that match, it will be on our sister broadcast network, Randomania. We believe 8 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, somewhere in there. We're going to have an exhibition for what it is that's going to be that, and it's going to lead into the last chance qualifier that will be the next day, that Saturday. Fizzlebeef, your partner, you've been with him forever, and tell us about the Trash Island.
Right. So the Trash Island Fire Department will be entering the co-op tournament. We have commissioned the number 9 fire engine. It is space ready. We have a very loyal hedgepig who I'm told actually wants to be there. And we are ready to dismantle anything that comes in our path and maybe put out some fires. We're keeping our options open.
Yeah, you're a space cadet, all right. going back some of the history of co-op, it's still really in its infancy. We've had 2 matches of it. They were last summer, nearly 9 months ago. And the main match that it was the Game Changers. The Enforcer for Conic FF, along with the Dragon Slayer Wickleosis, took on Trash Island Fire Department, Tarnin, and Lord Fizzlebeef, and the Game Changers took that match with a big victory from Falconic as he took it home. We had a great match that was August 26, 2018, but that all changes June 16th, 2019. And if you're interested in that, I can't tell you how fun it is. You share key items, you work together, you're chatting together. It is an absolute blast. We certainly can't wait for it, as we are halfway through the 2019 spring tournament right now. That's what we get to look forward to this summer in Final Fantasy Randomizer.
I just want to circle back to something real quick, just as sort of like a point of order, Will. Fizzlebeef says he wants you in the bracket stage, but that's not a guarantee that you're going to make it to the bracket stage. You might end up in the play-in race. So what are you going to do to prepare for your next race tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, Will, to make sure that you make it into the bracket?
High noon showdown. The quiet 3-1 Wab. No one sees him coming, taking on the Dragon Slayer Wickleosis. I've been very busy lately, personally, and incredibly busy. I've done a whole 2 practice seeds all week, and I can tell you at this point in time, fans, I have not studied my opponent, and that is my key game. Lord Fizzlebeef knows that. Caleb, you know that. Everyone knows that. I let that out there. I don't know that I'm going to make it. I can tell you that personally, I have fulfilled all my goals so far in this tournament. I couldn't be more happy with it. It's all about the fans and the show for me in growing Final Fantasy Randomizer. That is my number 1 priority. It always will be. Should I fall to 3-2, then it's time for the play-in race. If I move on to 4-1, it's time to just move forward, study my opponent. If I end up with Lord Fizzlebeef, hopefully beat him again. If not, is it Azardia? Is it Team Vorpal? Team Vorpal, the original 4 founding members of Team Vorpal, there's 4 of us. Shalazia is not in this tournament. Zardia, Falconic, and Wickleosis, we are all 3-1. Very quiet. Again, just like my opponent Wap. Team Vorpal going to do some damage. And if we end up against each other, may the best man win. And Team Vorpal will represent 2019 spring tournament.
I was just poking some fun, buddy. I'm rooting for you, man. Nothing against Wab. I'm sure he'll play. You guys will put on a great race, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to check it out, as I'll be kind of in the tunnel, so to speak, getting hyped for my own match at 3 p.m. Eastern against Rumblefish82. That's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. He came on the podcast over the week, and unlike some of my other guests, he was a little more reserved about sharing sort of his strategy. He kind of got around my metagame of how I've been preparing for my races. I like to kind of bring my guests on, talk to them, see what they're going to do, and I go in with that knowledge. But Fish was playing his cards close to the chest, so it's gonna be a fun match tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern.
ShoFukomachi has made his way to Kraken 2. We know from his opponent, our winner tonight, Lord Fizzlebeef, that 2 Sidewinders and a Heatseeker will take him out. ShoFukomachi attacks for 181 and cure 4 from Kraken 2 that we never saw. Looks like his first spell. ShoFukomachi slowing down just a little bit. He's going to play a little bit more defensively. He's not going for the outright offensive aggression that Lord Fizzlebeef did. There's a ruse. The crack skill, Earth Elemental, misses most of his words, but it got the Black Wizard. The Black Wizard has perished.
Crack from Kraken. That's very ironic.
Another white. There's a Vorpal swing from ShoFukomachi and a critical hit from the Game Changer. More evasion from ShoFukomachi. There's Fire 3 from Kraken 2. We never saw any of this. Excalibur for 245. We move on to another round for show. More evasion. There's another Excalibur strike. 210. A Vorpal swing. The Vorpal misses. Again, more evasion. It's Kraken's turn. Kraken fires Lightning 3. We saw that from the birds earlier. It was really the story of this match. It wiped both players and cost them time. The Vorpal, the Game Changer, critical hit, takes out Kraken 2. We'd like to point out from chat live here on Speed Gaming from Tarnin, from Lord Fizzlebeef's co-op partner, that, and I quote, Lord Fizzlebeef and Tarnin, Team Trash Island Fire Department, are 7-0 in this tournament against non-game changer opponents. The game changers being Team Vorpal members.
It's merely an aberration. It's an error in the data collection, I'm sure.
It's a relatively small sample size, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about. Lord Fizzlebeef took out Tiamat 2 very quickly. It was a very weak spell list from Tiamat 2. We've seen the Fire 2, but Tiamat 2, oh wow. Last Ubi. It was a mage stick for 30 for chip damage and more evasion for ShoFukomachi as we are past the 1 hour 55 minute mark. Sho trying to finish this out. At 3-1, he will move down to 3-2. He has, oh gosh. Tiamat 2 blast the Knight. The Knight's down to 91 HP. He goes directly to Cure 4 to try to cure that Knight. He's got to save that Knight. Initiative goes to the Mage Staff. Cure 4 gets off before Tiamat can attack. Full HP for the Knight. And the Excalibur for 183 takes out Tiamat 2.
I was concerned about the amount of gas I had when I got to Tiamat 2, which is why I layered on the Invis 2 thick. So I didn't see those big, huge numbers. I mean, yeah, he took out the Black Mage, but like a stiff breeze will take out the Black Mage at this level. So, kind of happy I dodged some of those crushing hits out of panic and defensive strats.
With
Caleb,
3
Lyra,
Masters,
the final
definitely.
fight, you guys want it?
Sure, I'll go.
Go for
Take
it,
it, Lyra.
All right, starting off with some defense. Invis 2, fast, white shirt. Looking for some temper charges. There we go. Full buff turn. Let's see what Chaos opens up with this. Chaos swings, critical hit, 149 to the Knights. Sho did not move around the party members at all. That is something that we actually didn't see earlier on. More temper, more defense. Getting good turn order. Chaos hasn't moved yet. Chaos, 97 damage. This is starting to go in 5 hits, 297. There we go. There's some damage. Didn't move the Vorpal over, though, so no crits. There's the Inferno. Just puts the Red Mage and the Black Mage down to less than 100 HP. Still buffing up, though. Swing to Chaos, 5 hits, 682 or so. Goodness gracious. That is a lot of damage, folks.
Finish him, Sho.
Out of tempers on the Black Mage. Ice 2 goes off. Downs the Red Wizard. 6 hits, 589 though. GG to Sho. There we go. This is a race, everybody. Official SRL. 1 hour, 57 minutes, 53 seconds, 25 minutes behind. Give it to Sho. Put on one heck of an effort despite everything the seed put.
ShoFukomachi, the venerable ShoFukomachi, the... Gosh, I watched Sho forever. Mr. .01 in the original league. He won the original Tiamat 2 of Death. That's what brought me to Final Fantasy Randomizer. It's a great match.
One of my
It was Zardia, ShoFukomachi, the franchise, X-Ice Blue, and Gentleman Joey, better known as Papa Foy's, in a great match. It was before the tournament ever started, the original tournament. It's over on YouTube with thousands and thousands of views. And I saw it by accident, Caleb, and I clicked on it. I never went back.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
What was it? Do you remember your time on YouTube? What was it that you saw? What was it that brought you into Final Fantasy Randomizer, that brought you to sit here with me and Lyra tonight?
I don't remember the exact match. I just remember it was a tournament, and I watched it, and I was enamored with the game, and then watched the next one, and then watched the next one, and then it got to the point where I was using them as Ambien, basically. I was watching them every night, kind of falling asleep watching them, and I've seen so many of them. I can't even tell you all of them, but like all of the names are like, it's like the Hall of Fame basically for FFR when you talk about some of these people. Will.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame, Our second place finisher tonight, taking out Chaos, ShoFukomachi. Welcome, GG's.
Oh,
And congratulations, my friend.
GG's Fizzle.
GG, dude.
GG show.
Thank you. that was something.
So what were your thoughts on that initial seed compared to the thoughts on this seed compared to the first seed y'all ran?
Oh well, the first seed probably would have been faster with the early floater and everything like that. Yeah, I don't know why my computer's been having issues lately, but I guess I just had to restart it.
Show its will. You're so imperative to me being here. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I certainly thank you for that. Moving on to 3 and 2. Going into the play-in race, it's about a week from now. Satisfied? What do you think about moving forward?
Well, this was my first seed in the tournament that was under 2 hours for me finishing. So all my wins came with 2 hours, so you can imagine how those seeds kind of went. So this one I was like, my only worry was like not having a good enough weapon, and of course not having a ribbon, because go mode came pretty early after finding the key and the loot. I was like, well, I have everything I need to clear out everything, but not having the gear, I felt so I played it a little safe. But looking forward to next week's plan race, and I'll definitely have to work on maybe taking some more risks.
Yeah, I was going to say,
tell you that dead even in go mode within a minute of each other, both in the ice cave, both picking up the loot. Both players, you were dead even with LordFizzlebeef. You decided to stop off and take some eye fights. Can you take us through your thought process in making that move?
Well, I was so low level at that point. I was like, well, I could probably grind out a few levels, and it was pretty safe with everybody, staying alive, and I had enough like AoE items and casting items to just get out of there once I did. So what did I grind to, like 17 or something like that? And then I felt a little more comfortable trying to finish out everything else.
You mentioned no endgame weapons, ribbons were scarce, you were able to find one in the volcano. Is that what led you to check more chests, take more fights along the way as a dual purpose to try to get to the endgame?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have finished with the Sun Sword. It's not a bad weapon, but I was like, seeing some of the past races, where people have been getting wrecked like really bad with, Topher and stuff like that. So I wanted to at least make sure I had, was able to do some damage. And having the power bonk and stuff like that, definitely helped. And the white shirt. So.
Where was the white shirt?
White shirt was in, I want to say Sky Castle somewhere.
Ugh.
White shirt was in 4th floor volcano.
4th floor volcano. There you go.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, there was a lot of value in Volcano that you missed, Fizzle.
Well, obviously it didn't matter because he definitely finished fast. So, yeah, just checking stuff was, and like gold braces being super expensive, pro rings being super expensive. I was like, ugh, just not having that defense or any sort of resistance.
So, Show, actually, here we are again. You're one of the people that I've actually watched going into the Final Fantasy community last year. One of the people I watched the most of. My big question to you tonight is, when you had that computer failure, how did it affect your confidence? You were riding momentum coming into this matchup. Did it demoralize you at all having to restart?
Obviously computer crashes can be can be frustrating. I try not to think about it too much, and I'm like, obviously, my concern throughout the race is it going to crash again? But luckily it didn't. And I think maybe before all my future races, I'll just restart my computer just to make sure that we don't have any of those crashes. Yeah, it can take the wind out of you. I mean, I was riding a 2-game win streak coming into this, but like any sort of competition, which I'm very used to at this point, with all the things that I've done in life. I just try to, keep focused and just, take things for what they are.
feeling confident about the play-in race at all?
I mean, we'll see. Obviously, there'll probably be a lot of really, really good racers, so just gotta practice up.
So what sort of do you have a specific band and force that you're looking forward to for that? Because we do know it's going to be different than these week 5.
I'm definitely would prefer fighter band and black belt force because I like black belts. But I'll play with anything. I try to be, my goal as just a runner is to be consistent, and I think before last summer when I was able to play a little more, I was definitely fairly consistent, with my play and everything like that. So it's just getting back up to that consistency, I think, for me.
That's fair. So we'll say, let's do a hypothetical show. You make it through the play-in race and you make it into the brackets. Is there a specific opponent that you would want to face in the first round?
I don't know. Everyone's so good at this point, like especially a lot of the new people have picked up really good. So anybody is a scary opponent at this point. So I would not want to face certain people, I guess, would be a better.
That's fair. Anybody you wish to avoid in that first round?
I mean, of course, Crab Cakes, Edge, Tristal, all those really, really good guys, who, are on the top at this point. So there's a lot of yes, all the wills. Definitely, a lot of good people, and this tournament's been really fun. See the, we're all pretty well matched. Sometimes luck plays in our favor, and sometimes it doesn't.
That's totally fair. One last question for you, Sho. We talked a little bit about it while you were wrapping up your Topher dive. Fizzle, Wilkliosis, Lyra, and myself, we're all going to be participating in the co-op tournament. Do you have any plans to join us on that journey this summer?
This summer, I teach marching band. I teach drum corps this summer, so I'll be out of town, so I won't be able to race. But maybe I can get in on some commentary, and hopefully, depending on when the races are. So that'll be my goal, because if it starts in the summer, I'm definitely out.
Ah, gotcha. Well, that's awesome. That sounds like you still have a pretty cool summer then.
It's a lot of fun. I love teaching, and I teach a lot of good students. So it's never work for me. It's all pure enjoyment.
That's awesome, dude. Good stuff, man.
Thank you.
So real life, definitely a little bit powerful, involved in the community with all of our runners tonight. We're gonna move on to the final thoughts. Let's go ahead and start it with.
What was that, Lyra? You cut out for a second.
Oh, go ahead, Fizzle, with your final thoughts.
There is a minimum level of gear that's required, but don't get too obsessed with finding a comfortable level. And sometimes you just have to accept and tell yourself that one ribbon's just got to do it because the other two have been deleted from the game, apparently.
How you feeling, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely will need to take more risks. GG's Fizzle. Thank you, Speed Gaming, for restreaming our match. It's much appreciated. Thanks to Will and Lyra and Rafa and Danny for doing all the hard work here. So, looking forward to the plan race and the rest of the tournament.
That is definitely something I can get along with. Special thanks to SG, our Randomania, for having us this spring. Special thanks to the fans. The fans are what makes these races special every single time we're here. How about you, Caleb?
I just want to thank Danny383 for doing the tracking, Will Cleosis and Lyra, thank you for joining me in the booth and letting me be a part of this. ShoFukomachi, LordFizzlebeef, thank you for putting on a show. Like Lyra said, all the fans that came out to support these guys doing this race. Couldn't do this without you. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Speed Gaming, too, for having us. And this has been a blast. I love getting in the booth. And Will, this was our first match together. And I imagine it will be the first of many. So
it is the first of many. Finally get with you, Caleb. Finally get with you, the Baroness Lyra. Thank you so much. You guys just said all the thank yous that I wanted to. Our two players tonight, ShoFukomachi and LordFizzlebeef. I thank you. We have our personal relationships, and great to call your match, and an honor, certainly, to call your match. Danny3883, you are incredible. Doubleheader coming up. The Midnight Special 4. 3-1 Buzzsaw Minochi 85 against the 3-1 leader of Final Fantasy Randomizer Zardia. Comes up in about 3 hours. Midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. That will be live on Speed Gaming Prime. Certainly also be available to you later on if you are in the YouTube community that likes to watch them at your own leisure. Team Illuminati will be there. The Dragon Slayer Wickliosis gets joined once again by the Emerald City Saint, Will Bloodworth. Coming up after that is the next match, a high noon showdown. Wickliosis puts down the headset, picks up the controller. 3-1 against the 3-1 Wab, the Quiet One. The winner moves on to the bracket stage. In the Sweet 16, the loser joins ShoFukomachi in the play-in race. That will be a week from now, right around May 17th. For ShoFukomachi, LordFizzlebeef, the Baroness Lyra, Rafe Hates Caleb of RafeHatesCaleb.com, Danny3883, and all the volunteers and all the help at Speed Gaming and the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. Thank you for joining us as we move forward in the 2019 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament and revive the power of the orbs.